And welcome back to Arrowhead Stadium. 79,000 strong here. The Chiefs have won the toss. They'll receive to start the game. There's Cortez Kennedy, a guy who's started 100 straight games for Seattle, but he's out with a knee strain, a 6-time Pro Bowl player. Let's check Jim Mora's matchups for today's game. And Jim, these are areas you see are critical.
We got some good ones today. This first one, Galloway versus Carter. Carter's going to be shadowing Galloway all day. Wherever Galloway lines up, Carter's going to be there. The next one we're talking about, that Chiefs offensive line, Grunhard, Shields, and Zod against that Seattle defensive front, Salamua and Adams. Warren Moon has got to handle that Chiefs zone blitz. It's going to be very important because they're going to come after him just about every play.
Last week against Carolina, the Chiefs had 5 sacks of Kerry Collins, each sacked by a different guy. They had 4 interceptions, each of those by a different player. And there is one of the best return men in the NFL, Tamarick Vanover, a guy who's haunted Dennis Erickson since Erickson's days at the University of Miami in Florida, when Vanover ran one back against him for Florida State. Todd Peterson having a big year as the place kicker, ready to boot the ball. He's into it, and the game is underway as Vanover comes up on the ball at the 6. Straight ahead burst, and Vanover dives over the top and gets close to the 25-yard line as Tim Hawk, who's been a very fine defensive or special teams player for the Seattle Seahawks, makes the stop. We look now at the offensive line. Grunhard doesn't get the praise, but people talk about him as being one of the best offensive linemen, not just centers, in the NFL. It's a good group. Gerback, they all talk about his leadership qualities. They really like playing with Elvis Gerback here in Kansas City. Chiefs really with a farm system with the 49ers. He's the 3rd starting quarterback they've had come in here from San Francisco. First Montana, then Bono, and now Gerback, who's going to throw on first down, swings it out beautifully, and the ball is dropped by Greg Hill, who almost got himself a penalty as he kicked at the ball. If he hit it and knocked it into the stands, it would have been unsportsmanlike. As you look at the front 4 for Seattle, Sinclair, Adams, the former Chief Dan Salamua starts for Cortez Kennedy. Good, solid linebacking. Chad Brown, the multi-million-dollar acquisition as a free agent from the Steelers, playing very well as an outside pass rusher. There is big Dan Salamua, digging in against his old mates. In fact, he owns a house very nearby to Arrowhead Stadium. Another throw on second down, and Gerback is not even close to a connection there as he's looking at Brett Perriman, who hasn't been happy, Jim, with the number of balls thrown to him, and he can't be happy with that one because he couldn't get near it.
That's for sure, but they're making a real effort to get him the ball. What Kansas City's got to do on offense today, they got to protect the middle so Gerback can step up and throw the football in. He can step up into the pocket, and they've got to do a good job with touchdowns in the red zone against a good Seattle defense. Seattle's got to stop the run and don't give up the big play.
That has been a problem for the Seahawks, in the opinion of their coaches, giving up big plays, and Kansas City needs one now on 3rd and 10. Here's a throw. And again, they go to Perriman, and that one looked catchable, but it shot right through his hands.
Right. You know, Don, we just said they're really making an effort to get Perriman the football. He's only had 2 catches in the 4 games so far, and that was a couple of weeks ago. He didn't catch any last week. And in practice, Gerback told us, he says, hey, I'm really making an effort to concentrate and get the ball to Perriman, and he's thrown 2 passes in a row to him. Neither being complete, but at least he's going to him.
Now, after 3 straight passes and 3 straight misses, Louis Aguiar will punt for the Chiefs. Tyree Davis is back for the Seahawks. Fields the ball at his 34-yard line, looks for some blockers, and Tyree is in a jam right now and does well to get ahead for maybe a return of 2 yards. 41-yard punt. They're crediting him with a 3-yard return. And the Seahawks will go on offense 1st and 10. Special teams tackle by the veteran Kevin Ross for Kansas City. As we look now at the starting lineups for Seattle Seahawks, Grant Williams starting again at left tackle. Walter Jones, that high number 1 draft choice, out with an injury. Warren Moon, age 40. He'll be 41 in November at quarterback. We'll see a lot of Broussard. Warren starts at running back, but Broussard came in and really ignited the team with his runs last week against San Diego. For the blitz that Kansas City's been sending so often this season. Warren Moon with a quick drop, a well-thrown ball, swings it out, and Chris Warren to the far side of the field is out of bounds at about the 45-yard line. Looking at the Chiefs on defense, Browning moves to left tackle. Vaughn Booker is out with an injury. Dan Williams moves to the right end. You have some changes in the linebacking core with Thomas out. Kellen McDaniel starts there. Donnie Edwards, a second-year player from UCLA, has been a nice standout at middle linebacker. He was a fourth-round draft choice a year ago. Handoff on 2nd and 5. Chris Warren moves the ball across the 45-yard line and gets close to the 46.
I think one of the most important things that Seattle's got to do here today, Don, is they got to get off to a fast start. If they can have some success early, it takes this Kansas City crowd, which is tremendous, out of the game. And to do that, they got to run the football. I don't care whether it's Warren, Smith, Broussard. They got to run the football, and they got to protect Moon against that Kansas City blitz.
Moon has had some very good games here as a Houston Oiler. He says he knows what it takes to win here. And it's not easy. It takes everybody to be focused all the time. Seahawks hoping to score first to maybe get this crowd out of it somewhat. Moon makes a throw, and very close to a penalty, but no flag, as wide receiver Joey Galloway coming over the middle. And they ruled that the timing of the hit was right then as the ball came in.
Well, the very first, the third down play there, they're going to Galloway, and Carter is all over him. A little short route to Galloway to try to get the first down, and Carter was all over him. This is going to be a great matchup to watch today, Galloway versus number 34, Dale Carter.
Carter will be on him all day. Both teams' offenses their first time out. 3 downs and out as punter Rick Tootin hits the ball now for Seattle. Mark Vanover signaling the fair catch, and it will carry him into the end zone for a touchdown. So the ball comes to the 20, and the Chiefs will have it again when we come back.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. By Volkswagen, on the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. By Lotus, work the web with Lotus Domino. And by Sears Auto Center, we keep you rolling.
Back to Kansas City, a terrific place to visit if you've never been here. A great city, Kansas City, and right now the Chiefs with the domination of the Seahawks in the recent years. 11 of the last 12. So far, neither team able to move the ball. Now we go to the run for the first time, and Greg Hill, the running back out of Texas A&M, takes the ball ahead. He surpassed Marcus Allen as the starter in the lineup, supplanted him, and Chad Brown makes the stop on the outside, and there's a short gain on the play of only about a yard.
The thing they like about Greg Hill, Don, is his speed. He's got great speed. He might be the fastest player on the Chiefs team. He likes to get outside with the ball, which he was trying to do there. Seattle had good pursuit.
Used to be right on the sidelines when he was in high school, running down the field as he'd be breaking 90-yard touchdowns. His mom was as fast as he was. Greg, and here's a throw over the middle, and the ball is caught by Andre Rison, who's really come on here at Kansas City. An 11-yard gain and the first down of the game. Here he is, Jim.
In the first series, they came out in a 2-back offense. This last couple plays, they've been in a 2 tight end, 1-back offense, and they just hit Rison there with the quick slant, working on a new corner for the Seattle Seahawks, Willie Williams.
Detroit beating Green Bay today in an upset. Pittsburgh holding on to outscore Tennessee as Gerbach stands in. He's a big guy at 6'5", 230 pounds. Here comes the Russian. He does the right thing, Jim, and just throws the ball away.
Right, that's all he could do right there, and he made the right decision to do that. One of the things that, of a lot of things they like about Gerbach is his mobility. For a big guy, he can really move around back there. Plus, Paul Hackett said he does a great job of being able to throw the ball from a variety of positions. There's Hackett right there, the offensive coordinator. But he can be falling to his left, falling to his right, falling backwards. He can still get the pass off, and he's accurate with it.
And they all talk about his leadership qualities. That was so evident when we talked to the various Chiefs yesterday. They think the guy's just great in the huddle, makes everybody want to do well. As Perriman comes in motion, the handoff goes right up the middle, and Greg Hill runs again. A very shifty running back. He's not tall, but he's powerful at 210 pounds. And the middle linebacker for the Seahawks, Dean Wells, combined with Sam Adams on the tackle.
3 yards on the play.
Yeah, they like to run right up the middle in that Kansas City offensive line because their 3 best offensive linemen are Grunhard at center, Zott at left guard, and Shields at right guard. They think these 3 players are as good as any combination in the National Football League, and they might be.
Grunhard, 61, really dominates at his position. who's ever opposite him doesn't get much done in most games, virtually every game. Now on third down, needing 7, Gerbach takes a drop against a blitz, throws the ball, a timing pattern, beautifully done. And Brett Perriman makes only his 3rd catch of the year. This is a guy who the last 2 years with Detroit caught over 200 passes. He caught 108 2 years ago, 94 last year.
Well, you can hear the crowd here. They're all cheering loudly for the fact that Perriman got a catch. You know, this has been of some concern here in the Kansas City area that he hasn't been getting the ball, and he's made it clear that he wants the ball. He's even gone to see Marty Schottenheimer and said, "Hey, Marty, get me the football. I'm here to catch passes. Get me the ball."
You had him for about 3 years at New Orleans. What makes him good, Jim?
He's fast, first of all, and he's very strong. He's got tremendously big hands. He can really catch. He's got all you want, and he's a tough guy. He'll catch the ball over the middle as well as anybody.
Right now, going to the outside is Greg Hill, as the left guard Dave Zott has a crushing block. Watch it, 79.
Number 79, Dave Zott, is pulling right there, and he's looking for the force guy, and that's the corner right there, Willie Williams. Willie Williams comes up and kind of gives himself away, but Zott is clearing the way. And like we said, Marty Schottenheimer thinks that Dave Zott is his best offensive lineman. He's a very underrated football player. He's never been to the Pro Bowl. He's been a starter for 7 years. Marty thinks he's very underrated, should be in the Pro Bowl.
Now they're looking like Pro Bowl blockers as they're opening it up. Here is Gerbach taking a look down over the middle. He's picked off. A pick by Darrell Williams, who had 3 last week against San Diego. So Darrell Williams, a former #1 draft choice of Cincinnati, who went to the Seahawks as an unrestricted free agent, is having a Pro Bowl season right now. 4 interceptions in the last 2 games.
This is the NFL on NBC.
The Chiefs are trying to get the ball to 89 Rison right there in a post route, but 33 Darrell Williams is sitting right in the middle. They play a lot of zone there at Seattle. You've got to see that guy sitting there. You can't throw the post route against a middle safety in a 3-deep zone. Darrell Williams does exactly what he's supposed to do and makes a good play.
3 interceptions last week for Darrell Williams of the Seahawks and 1 today. And now Chris Warren busted up the middle on a first down carry. He's to the 45-yard line of Kansas City. Knocked down by the strong safety Reggie Tung, but there's a gain of almost 9 on the play.
Well, this is just a straight handoff, a little sprint draw type action to Chris Warren, and it's going to be very important for Seattle to be able to run this football. You know, he's going to play the first 4 series, and they're going to see how he's doing. If he's doing fine, they'll keep him in. If not, they're going to bring Lamar Smith in. So he wants to do well early.
And he did well on that play as it's second down in the long yard. Here's a pitch back. Again, Warren runs with the ball. They try to strip it through the Chiefs, but cannot. And Chris Warren takes it to the 41-yard line. Good for a first down.
Yeah, well, again, you know, they're gonna keep Chris Warren in. They've got 3 good backs. They've got Chris Warren, they got Lamar Smith, and they got Steve Broussard, who had a good game last week in the second half. And they're using it kind of a platoon system. They're going to keep Chris Warren in there for the first 4 series, see how he's doing. Like I said, I'm not so sure that's a good idea. Most backs don't like that. They want to get the ball and play the whole game. They want 20, 25 carries a game.
I don't know any top back that likes it. They all want to be in there, but you got to do it. Ignites the team, and Broussard did last week. Here's a long ball. Warren Moon gets his man. Touchdown, Joey Galloway. We talked about the long ball offense, and there it is for the first score of the game. And the Seahawks on a 41-yard scoring play. A big hit from Warren Moon to Joey Galloway. They've been working in recent weeks to get synced up, and they obviously are now, Jim.
Kansas City's going to come with the blitz right up there in the middle, and as Dennis Erickson told us, he says when they're blitzing, we're going to get them some, and they're going to get us some. And what happened here is here's Galloway right there. He just beats Carter with a straight up route. He just outruns him. He's got the speed to do that. He just outruns him. No fake or anything. Well thrown ball by Moon.
About as well thrown as it can be. And Galloway, who's had some nagging injuries, certainly has that burst of speed. Warren Moon telling us yesterday, Jim, about he has that extra gear when the ball's in here, and we saw it there as he blew by the super fast Dale Carter. The point after is good. So the Seahawks, who struggled in recent years here at Arrowhead, start fast with a 7-0 lead. Joey Galloway's 20th catch of the season, good for 41 yards and the first touchdown of the game as the Seahawks, who've lost 11 of their last 12 here at Arrowhead Stadium, take a 7-0 lead. And now Peterson ready to kick off for Seattle. A short kick that Vanover comes up on it. Here comes the super fast Tamarick Vanover. And there'll be a blocking foul against Kansas City on the return. Let's watch that touchdown again, Jim Moore. Right, DOB, a thing of beauty.
Yeah, the Seahawks wanted to get off to a quick start, and they did. There's Galloway right there, and Dale Carter's playing him close, but he doesn't get his hands on him right there. He kind of backs up as Galloway comes off the line, and Galloway just runs by him with that tremendous speed. And again, as we said earlier, a great throw by Moon.
And this is not a warm and fuzzy relationship these two teams have either.
And it's not a warm and fuzzy relationship between Carter and Galloway.
No, that's especially intense.
This is going to be a great matchup. Two fine football players, two really good athletes and competitors, and it's going to be fun to watch these two guys compete today.
You talked about Galloway's good showing last week against San Diego. He really broke it open with 5 catches for 106 yards and that 53-yard touchdown. As you see, the foul signaled against the Kansas City Chiefs on the return.
You know, prior to that catch right there, he's had 18 touchdowns, and they've averaged over 43 yards per touchdown. So he's a big play guy, and they started off the game with the big play to him.
Speed kills, and Joey Galloway has warp speed as football players go. Walt Coleman, our referee.
We have holding on the return team, number 82. It's a 10-yard penalty. We had an inadvertent whistle. The ball is dead. It will be Kansas City's ball. First down.
The ball is dead. It's really dead.
Dead there. Well, Kansas City doesn't get real good field position right here. Last week they had the same problem. They got some penalties early in the game and had to start back in their own territory. They did a pretty good job of getting out of it, but let's see what they do here.
Let's watch that return again, Jim. It looked like Vanover fumbles here when he's hit.
Oh yeah, he got it stripped out of his hands. But what happened was, it looks to me like Seattle's going to get it. But the official blew an inadvertent whistle, so Kansas City gets to keep the ball. What a tremendous break for Kansas City.
Man alive. And the NBC camera's right on it, picking it up. So Kansas City keeps the drive opening now with the run to Greg Hill, and there's not a lot going on at the right side of the Seattle defense. As outside linebacker Chad Brown, number 94, was the first tackler. The Pro Bowl player from the Pittsburgh Steelers, who helped lead the Steelers to a Super Bowl appearance a couple of years ago. Game they should have won against Dallas, were it not for the picks, the interceptions. I asked Chad Brown yesterday how he rates the Seattle defense. He said, one word, talented. There's a lot of good people here.
Yeah, he compares it to the Pittsburgh defenses he played on.
Here's a throw and a catch. Nicely done in the open field for the moment is Andre Rison out to the 30-yard line. A 16-yard gain on the play and a first down for the Chiefs.
Well, all they're doing here is running a quick slant to Rison there on the right side of your screen. They've got it stopped for a minimal gain right there, but number 33, Darrell Williams, missed the tackle. You got to come up and tackle that receiver high. Make sure you get him down in the open field.
Rison putting up some nice numbers. He, of course, was a member of the world champion Packers last year. He's been with 4 teams in the last 16 months. And straight ahead, Greg Hill, nothing up the middle. He bounces to the outside, where he's taken down by the rookie cornerback number 24, Sean Springs, who was the 3rd player picked in the entire draft last April.
Well, they're getting Greg Hill the ball. You know, last week he had, I think it was 8 carries for 5 yards, and he was very unhappy that he didn't get the ball more. So they're giving him the ball more today. You know, an interesting thing, anytime that he has carried the ball in his career as a Chief 14 times or more, the Chiefs are 14-0 in the win-loss column. So they're getting him the ball early today.
Yeah, they'll keep getting it to him if that's the result. Right now, though, the favored Chiefs are down 7-0. Good play fake by Gerbach. Open man up the middle. He makes the throw and the connection for a first down as Darrell Williams puts a hard shot on the rookie tight end Tony Gonzalez. A first-round draft choice, really a rising star at tight end, they feel, here in Kansas City.
You're going to get a bootleg right there. see Tony Gonzalez, the tight end, and he's going to run a crossing route. This is a standard route for the bootleg. Tony Gonzalez, their #1 draft pick, did not catch a pass last week. They want to get him involved in the game plan today.
Not big as tight ends go, Gonzalez at 6'4", 240. But maybe the best hands on the team. He, of course, was part of their NCAA tournament basketball team at Cal Berkeley last season. A throw down the middle, and this time Brett Perriman makes a diving catch. So Gerbach, who started out struggling with his throws, all of a sudden starts to heat up. That was good for 12 yards.
Marty Schottenheimer told us that Brett Perriman had lost a little confidence because he hasn't caught many balls. This is going to do him a world of good catching these balls early in the game. I mentioned earlier how strong he is. You see a defensive back there wrapped around him, but Perriman still made the catch.
He made the catch for a 12-yard gain. Now they go back to the run, and here is Greg Hill breaking it for the moment. He is inside the 35-yard line and down close to the 33 on a first down carry. It's close to a first down for Greg Hill and the Chiefs. Hill only at 5 yards last
Hill right there. He's just going to run a little slant play to the off-tackle play. What he does right here, he gets through a hole there, but watch him. He starts to lose his balance, but he recovers himself, gets about another 8 or 9 yards. That's a real nice run by Greg Hill.
Gets it far enough downfield where they have to measure for the first down. Greg Hill, he was openly unhappy last week after gaining only 5 yards. At Carolina, he had some big games earlier in the season. His production has gone down. He's been getting the ball less until today.
You know, the thing about this Kansas City offense now, Don, they've got a lot of big players on offense at the skill positions. They all want the football. Greg Hill wants the ball. Brett Perriman wants the ball. Andre Rison wants the ball. Popson, Gonzalez, they all want the ball, but they only have one football to play with. And this is a little bit of a problem for Paul Hackett, the offensive coordinator right there. But what he told us, he says, hey, I'd rather have this kind of a problem than the problem where I don't have anybody that can do anything with the ball. He says the only guy I got to satisfy is the head coach, and when we win, he's satisfied.
That's right. And then when they win, they have the 12 o'clock rule. That means you can't be happy and celebrate any longer than midnight Sunday night. Then you start thinking about the next one.
Or be sad.
Right, if you lose, this game is over as of 12 o'clock tonight. Either way, here is Greg Hill with a straight-ahead carry on 2nd and short. First down Chiefs. So with Greg Hill mixed into the passing of Gerbach, the Chiefs moving the ball well in this drive. You'll recall their last drive ended abruptly when Darrell Williams intercepted Gerbach, and 3 plays later it was turned into a 41-yard touchdown play.
This has been a great drive because they had the bad field position to start with after the penalty. After the penalty. Right, and a lucky call.
Sure was that, as the handoff now goes to Greg Hill, and he is inside the 30-yard line and stopped by Dean Wells, an underrated player, middle linebacker, number 95. It's supposed to rain here today in Kansas City, but it's about as perfect as weather can get. Temperature in the mid-70s, not a cloud in the sky.
These are some of the new free agents that the Seattle defense picked up this year. Some really key ones. Chad Brown, the linebacker, and 2 players in the secondary, Williams and Blade, and then, of course, Sally Mua, the ex-Chief.
Here is Gerbach looking for a screen as he throws the ball and just does well to get it near a eligible receiver, as the big rush was put on by Sally Amua, number 97, the former Chief, putting the heat on for the Seahawks in the pass rush.
What this is, Don, this is a throwback screen to the tight end. Gerbach takes the ball and he rolls out to his right. The guy to look at right there is number 88, Tony Gonzalez. He's going to fall down. See him fall down right there? Fall down right there. Now watch him get up. No, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. Gonzalez came from the right side, but it was still a throwback screen to the tight end.
That was Gonzalez right in that area running the route. Now Marcus Allen's in the backfield as they're going to throw on 3rd down and 5. Gerbach takes a look. He's in trouble. He's going to get it himself. Gerbach slides in at the 17-yard line. He needed 5. He got 9. A first down for Kansas City. The drive stays alive.
You know, for a big guy, usually they think about a quarterback that's 6'5". He's not very active or very mobile. Gerbach is an active athlete. He's big, but he can run. He can move, and he's got good quickness. He bends his knees, and this is one of the things that the Chiefs like about him. And right there, he took advantage of this and picked up the first down with a good scramble.
He's been a big-time winner. He was a 4-year starter at the University of Michigan, where his main target was the Heisman Trophy winner, who has MVP MVP of the last Super Bowl, Desmond Howard, as Gerbach throws again. It's picked off again. This time it's Blades who gets the ball. At the 2-yard line, another throw over the middle. And Jim, you talked about that Seattle 3-deep defense that has people really playing center field waiting for the long throw.
That's right. They're very simple, but they're very sound and very disciplined. And you've got to know where those people are when you're throwing the football. The Seahawk defense went to a man-to-man coverage down here. Most of the way down the field, they've been playing zone. There's Benny Blades right there, and he's covering number 88, Tony Gonzalez, man-to-man. You'll watch him there as Tony comes off the ball. Benny's just going to cover him, and Gerbach just makes a bad throw. Benny makes a nice break on the ball and gets the interception. Gerbach isn't very happy about that. He's not off to a good start.
He shouldn't be. He's made 2 blatantly bad throws right at defenders for Seattle. So the Seahawks with a 7-0 lead now start out in just across their 10-yard line as the handoff goes to Chris Warren. And the Chiefs defense comes hitting and knocks him down for a gain of maybe a yard, led by defensive end Dan Williams, number 92. The former number 1 pick of the Denver Broncos out of Toledo.
That's right, and he really didn't work out at Denver. He had some serious knee injuries that kind of held back his progress. They eventually got rid of him, and the Chiefs have picked him up.
Chris Warren still in the backfield. Max Strong is the fullback in front of him. A power set on 2nd down and 8. Strong goes in motion. Beautifully thrown ball by Warren Moon, as his coach Dennis Erickson told us, Jim, you know one thing, that ball's going somewhere. He's not going to hold on to it back there.
No, they said that Moon's going to take a 5-step drop. What he does right there, it's a good 5-step drop to get away from that pass rush, and he's going to throw it quick. And they're working on Mark McMillan over there, number 29, who's starting in place of James Hasty. And Moon said he was going to throw more to McMillan than he was to Carter.
They're really playing bump and run. Those Kansas City cornerbacks, look at them right up tight on the wide receivers as the handoff goes, and again the run up the middle. Lamar Smith is stuffed by Kansas City.
You mentioned those cornerbacks for Kansas City playing a bump and run. This is what they do best. They like to get up there and challenge that receiver. Right up on the line of scrimmage, get their hands on them and make it tough to get off the line of scrimmage. Sometimes they'll change it up and play off the ball, but they're still aggressive. They're always going to be aggressive, especially Dale Carter.
There's Dale Carter, but you remember, he might be aggressive, but he was beaten aggressively by Galloway in the 41-yard touchdown pass play. There's a blitz on 2nd and 8. Seahawks go to the run, and Lamar Smith runs the ball close to the 30 or the 29-yard line. So it'll bring up 3rd down and about 7.
It looks to me like the Seahawks are figuring that they get in a 2nd and 8 situation that Kansas City is going to come after the blitz. So they're going to run the football, which is what they did there. There's Joey Galloway on the sideline. Obviously, he's got something wrong with him.
Well, he's had the problem with the toe. He's had an ailing toe that they've been treating. He's looking at it. He's made the biggest play of this game, a 41-yard touchdown reception on a straight speed pattern where he blew by the fast Dale Carter. And Moon put it right where it had to be for a 7-0 Seattle lead. Moon with a screen. This is Lamar Smith running in the open field for a 1st down and much more, as he is ahead for a gain of 20 yards on the play, all the way out to the 47-yard line. Jerome Woods got him. That'll do it for the first quarter of play, and the Seattle Seahawks have looked outstanding. Don Crickey with Jim Mora back ready to start the second quarter of play at sold-out Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. There's a guy that you know well, Jim, and they call him Mighty Mouse here with the Chiefs. Mark McMillan, you had him at New Orleans.
Had him in New Orleans last year. Of course, that was his first year with New Orleans last year, and I left after half the season. But he's only 5'7", 145 pounds, and that's where he gets the nickname Mighty Mouse. And there, Andre Rison, his nickname is Spider-Man.
He says Spider-Man, he took that for himself, because he said Spider-Man gets the job done and doesn't get the credit. Tell you, Andre's gotten some credit with some of the years he's had. In 5 straight years, he averaged 85 catches a year with Atlanta. As we have a timeout on the field with Seattle in the lead. 7-0. Washington with an impressive win today, coming from behind to beat Jacksonville as they both now stand at 3-1. That game played in the rain at the new stadium of the Redskins. Tampa Bay had a rally late on a Dilfer touchdown throw to edge Arizona, so the amazing Buccaneers off to a 5-0 start.
That is amazing, and I'm happy to see it. I think it's great.
Tony Dungy waited a long time, and he's really making it happen now at Tampa Bay in just his second year. Detroit with an upset, so the Green Bay Packers bravado about an unbeaten season has come a cropper. They are now 3-2. Pittsburgh gets to 500, outscoring Tennessee, a team that started fast but has really started to fall back. The Giants with a 14-9 win over New Orleans. Chicago a surprise leader at Dallas. The Bears winless so far this season, and the heat is on former Dallas assistant Dave Wannstedt, now the head coach of the Bears. Report from the Seahawks bench, Galloway has a sprain of his right ankle and he's out for now. He could be back. We'll see. We know that Chris Warren is back and running the ball very well as Warren takes it to the 45-yard line of the Chiefs, where he's stopped by a former Seahawk, Terry Wooden, number 90.
They're doing a good job of blocking here on the left side of the line. On the right side of your screen, you get the right guard pulling around there. Derek Graham makes a nice block on the linebacker, clears the way for Warren. There's Bob Bratkowski right there. He's the offensive coordinator of the Seahawks. He said he thought that they could run the ball on the Chiefs, and he said it was important that we do it early.
Well, Warren's been running the ball well, Jim. He has 5 carries for 25 yards so far in the games.
You might get to see more action during the game starting out like this.
Warren Moon makes a throw and a catch, and it's a first down as Carlester Crumpler makes his 9th catch of the year. Good for a first down. Dale Carter cut him down when he got the ball. But the Seahawks, with good diversity in their offense, running the ball and then getting some very good throws from Warren Moon, continue to move the ball for another first down.
I think the whole key right here, the reason they're getting some success in the passing game, because the running game is working. The running game is setting up the passing game. And it just cuts down that Chiefs blitzing philosophy if they can run the ball effectively.
And they've run it effectively so far as they now have first down and 10. They hand off to Chris Warren. It was interesting what Warren Moon told us yesterday, Jim. He thought that the good game that Broussard had coming off the bench is going to ignite the other running backs who he thought weren't hitting in as hard as they had been earlier in the year. And they saw Broussard do it, and we see Warren really attacking the defense of the Kansas City Chiefs. The rushing yards so far in today's game.
I didn't expect that. I didn't quite expect Seattle to be quite so successful running the football early, but they're doing a real good job of it.
And with the good job of running the ball, they've advanced it now to the 40-yard line. We're at second and long, second and almost 10. Moon, 3-step drop, makes the throw. Lester Crumpler, a sure-handed tight end, coming off the play, makes another catch, and he's down close to the 36-yard line.
They're just throwing a quick flat out there to Carlester Crumpler in the flat. Real quick drop, 3-step drop. Here comes Mark McMillan up there. You see Mark, he didn't make a real vicious tackle right there. He kind of laid a low body block on him. He saw that big tight end Crumpler come out there. He's not quite sure he wanted to hit him. Yeah, Mighty Mouse. He didn't look real mighty right there, but he got him down.
Well, Crumpler's a foot taller than he is. Crumpler's almost 6'7", and they list Mighty Mouse at 5'7". That might be a little wishful thinking. There might be some extra socks on. You might get to 5'7". Dropping to throw, Warren Moon. He triggers the ball. What a throw by Moon as he fires it in. And coming back at the ball to make the catch is number 89, Brian Blades, who's had some trouble with injuries and apparently does again. We saw Brian last night at the hotel. He was going to try to go, and he went well there, but now he's down again.
Well, that's Brian Blades working on James Hasty right there.
So
Hasty had good coverage, but it was a good pass by Moon putting it in there.
The Seahawks playing very well, leading the game 7-0 and driving again, but they're losing some people injuries. Blades up and around on the sidelines after making a first down catch. He apparently pulled a muscle or something. We don't know if he'll be back. Joey Galloway, who caught the touchdown pass, out with an ankle sprain for the moment. No determination yet whether he'll play again. And Chris Warren strained a neck muscle, but Chris Warren's right back in the lineup, ready to bang away again. And here is Warren. The Chiefs come hitting on him as he's knocked down at the 30-yard line. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well, this is a real good play by Donnie Edwards, their number 59. He made a great play to the outside. Now, what he can really do is run. Marty Schottenheimer says he's got great speed and he's very intelligent. He compares him to Harry Carson, the great linebacker for the Giants when Marty was an assistant coach there. Very bright. He's got his master's degree from UCLA. One of 9 children in the family.
Very interesting background. He's part Apache. His mother is Latino. He's fluent in Spanish. And being a smart guy sure helps when you make all the defensive calls, as Donnie Edwards has to do for the Chiefs. Jerome Woods comes up, makes the hit, so the Chiefs defense starts to rise up, making some plays, which they need badly in this game, trailing 7-0 in the second quarter.
You know, after that first long strike to Galloway for a touchdown, the Seahawks have done a good job of kind of nickel and diming down the field here against the Chiefs defense, and that's just a little quick pass to the flat right there, and they're just keeping the clock going, moving the ball. Now they've got 3rd and long here. They don't want to be in this situation, but we'll see what happens. And they got to deal with this crowd noise a little bit here, and that's tough. What happens here is the center does the cadence.
Here's Warren Moon. He gets time, makes the throw. It's not going to be enough, though, as he gets the ball to Carlester Crumpler. And the Chiefs come hitting hard, and the stop is made well short of the 1st down. And that would indicate a long field goal attempt by one of the NFL's best kickers as Todd Peterson comes on the field now.
You know, I mentioned the fact that when they get into a shotgun, when Warren Moon is back off the line of scrimmage, the offensive linemen have a hard time hearing his snap count, especially with the crowd noise. So what he does, he yells at the center that he's ready, and the center does the cadence. He goes, hut, hut, hut. He does the cadence so the offensive lineman can hear, and nobody's offsides.
Kevin Mawai, the center who does that cadence. Here is a 44-yard field goal attempt. It is spun up down the middle, and it is through. So Peterson has now hit 13 straight field goals, one short of his own team record he set last year, and Erickson's got something to celebrate. Don Crickey with Jim Mora at Kansas City, where 2 interceptions of Chiefs quarterback Elvis Gerbach have been converted into 10 points for the underdog Seahawks, who lead the game 10-0. Now Peterson, who just hit a 44-yard field goal, hits a high kickoff that Tamarick Vanover fields at the 10. He can go across the 30. Penalty marker down, as is Vanover at midfield. Andre Coleman makes the tackle, but it's going to come back after a 40-yard kickoff return. Walt Coleman says holding on the return team.
Vanover obviously is one of the top kickoff return players in the National Football League, and the thing that...
Holding during the return, number 23. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
The thing that he does best is no dancing around back there for him, which is what you're supposed to do when you're returning kickoffs. You take that ball and you hit it going north right up the middle of the field. He does that extremely well. It's a shame when you've got a guy like Vanover that can give you good field position with the returns, that you get penalties, and now you're back in your own area. That's not a good penalty for the Chiefs.
Clyde Johnson, a rookie cornerback, was the guy who made the illegal block. As you look at Elvis Gerbach's numbers, the 2 interceptions looming large. They've led to the 10 Kansas City points. And their 10-0 lead. It's Marcus Allen in his 16th year, hard as that seems to believe. And you know him well. You actually recruited him out of high school, didn't you, Jim?
I was coaching at the University of Washington. Marcus Allen was a senior at Lincoln High School in San Diego. He's a quarterback and defensive back. I tried to recruit him. Lost him, of course, to SC. Nobody recruited him as a running back. Everybody wanted him as a defensive back. The only team that even slightly thought of him as a runner was University of Oklahoma, who was trying to recruit him as a wishbone quarterback.
And then at USC for the first couple of years, he did more blocking than running, didn't he?
It was amazing. His sophomore year, he was the starting fullback for USC.
Blocking for Charles White, the Heisman Trophy winner.
Blocking for Charles White, and he also he told me, he says, this is what made me a complete football player. Because he's got he's the all-time leader in 3 categories right there: rushing touchdowns, running back receptions, and games played by a running back. All time in the National Football League. But he said playing fullback at SC his sophomore year made him a complete football player. He also told me this: his first practice as a fullback, he broke his nose blocking the linebacker. He didn't even weigh 200 pounds.
Well, he's won everything he can win. He's been MVP of the Super Bowl, MVP of the entire NFL. He's been the Heisman Trophy winner. Gerbach takes a look and makes the throw. Nicely done to Derek Walker on a beautiful play fake by the Kansas City quarterback. And the gain is good for 20 yards, and the Chiefs get it down to the 45-yard line.
The Chiefs run the bootleg. He's going to fake the ball here to his right and come back to his left, and he's going to hit the tight end, number 82, Derek Walker, on a crossing route. The Seattle linebackers bit on the fake. There was nobody there to cover Walker over the middle.
This is a play, Jim, you seem to see more and more in pro football and in college. Kind of a tight end drag underneath, and the guy's always open, it seems.
That's right, because the linebackers are so aggressive nowadays playing the run that they bite on that run fake, and there's nobody in the middle to cover the tight end.
Marcus Allen with that patented cutback move as he waits for his blocker to commit, sees what the defense goes to, and then he shoots ahead for a gain of about 7.
I talked to Marcus on Friday, and I said, you know, you've announced your retirement. I said, you know you can still play, don't you? I know you've been in this league for 16 years, but you can still play, and he's showing it out here today. He's a great guy to talk to. You know, he's a real motivator on this football team. Before every game, he stands at the door as the players are running out on the field for the kickoff and gives every one of them a high five and some word of encouragement. A great leader.
And didn't do that, though, with the Raiders, I understand.
He told me he started doing that when he came here to Kansas City. He really likes Kansas City. He likes playing here. I said, well, you're going to be in the Hall of Fame. Are you going to go in as a Raider or a Chief? And he says, I'm going in as a Chief. This is my football team. Owns a couple of car dealerships here, and he said when he retires, I said, you're going to stay in Kansas City. He said, I like it here. I'm going to spend some time here, but probably some time out in California also.
Everybody seems to like it here. Joe Montana loved it here in his brief time. Now the Chiefs badly in need of a score as we're in the second quarter. 6 minutes and 18 seconds to play in the half. Kansas City favored but trailing 10-0. Hand off Marcus Allen. No, a play fake, and Gerbach runs. Gets a big block, and Gerbach is out of bounds at the 15-yard line. A 21-yard gain on a quarterback keeper, so...
Yeah. What they say, they call this a naked, because he's coming out there. Watch him. He's going to come out there, and there's not going to be any blockers in front of him. And he sucks Chad Brown, number 95. There he is right there. He sucks him in with the run fake, and there's nobody to contain him. Good call by Paul Hackett, the offensive coordinator.
And a much-needed big gain as Gerbach now has run the ball twice today for 30 yards. So he's been the leading rusher so far for Kansas City. Right now, there's a timeout on the field with the Seahawks in the lead, 10-0. Back at Arrowhead Stadium, Don Criqui with Jim Mora. Dennis Erickson, Jim, talking before the game about his team needing big plays to beat the Chiefs, and they've gotten big plays.
Yeah, they got the big play to Galloway for the touchdown, and then they got 2 big interceptions for getting them out of the hole. You know, one in the red zone. They're really good in the red zone. Seattle Seahawks are one of the best teams in the red zone in the National Football League so far this season.
Taken down inside the 10-yard line.
This is the first carry of the game for Kimball Anders, their Pro Bowl fullback. Kimball Anders is an excellent receiver, normally a receiver, but also a very good runner too. When they get down here in this red zone area, they like to give the ball to their fullbacks, either Anderson or Tony Richardson. Or Anders or Tony Richardson.
Yeah, 2 big backs. Anders, a Pro Bowl starter. And Marcus Allen, the man who knows the goal line as well as anybody that's ever played the game. You get him near the end zone, and he'll find his way into it. He just did. And the Chiefs are right back in the game, trailing 10-6 with the extra point coming up.
Well, you're looking at the best goal line runner in the National Football League, and he has been for quite a while. He knows where that end zone is. He scored a lot of touchdowns, the most ever by a running back, and the majority of those have been, 114. There's a guy showing it right there. 114 rushing touchdowns. Most of them have been from the 10-yard line in. He's a master at it. He's superb at it.
He was superb there, and now the extra point by Stoyanovich is up and good. And the Chiefs get back in the ball game, trailing 10-7. Kansas City kicks off when we come back to Arrowhead.
This play is designed to go to the right side of your screen, but watch number 82, Derek Walker, the tight end on the left side of your screen, blocking number 70, Michael Sinclair. He just rolls him down the line of scrimmage, knocks him into the other people. Marcus Allen makes a a nice cut back and gets into the end zone.
And the Chiefs are on the board, trailing 10-7 with 5:11 to go in the first half. Now the kickoff is hit downfield. And here is Broussard, who had the big game last week against San Diego. He's not having a big return here as the Chiefs come on special teams. They come firing and knock down Broussard inside his 15-yard line. Join us next Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern Time for Smash Hits Tennis as Pete Sampras joins Elton John in a mix of showbiz and tennis action. That's at 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock following that, it's High Performance Golf. Improve your golf game with tips from the best coaches in the world. That's all next Saturday beginning at 4 o'clock Eastern Time on NBC. At 4, Smash Hit Tennis. At 5, High Performance Golf. Watch it if you're a player. You can get better with some instructions from the best teachers in the world.
This crowd's getting loud, Don.
And it can get real loud as Warren Moon with a quick drop makes a throw, and he's right on the numbers. As Mike Pritchard's running in the open field for Seattle, and Pritchard is inside the 40-yard line and down to the 38. And they talked about needing big plays. And again, the right arm of Warren Moon delivers one.
They're going to run a post here to Mike Pritchard. Got Mark McMillan covering, but watch 21 come into your screen right here. Jerome Woods, he misses the tackle. He misses the tackle, and Pritchard's going to get another 25, 30 yards at least. Good bit of running by Pritchard.
Some excellent running by Pritchard out of Colorado, who started as a running back there. He went to wide receiver. That was a 50-yard play. Warren Moon has hit 9 of 10 throws for 143 yards in this game. And now the handoff as the ball is taken down to the 31-yard line of KC by Lamar Smith. Gunther Cunningham, there he is. Jim Morris circles him, the defensive coordinator. He's making the calls up here, and he's getting a little confused, or some of his players are.
You know, he wasn't very happy with his defense at the workout at the practice on Friday. In fact, Marty wasn't either. They went out there, they weren't even going to practice yesterday, and he made the whole team go out and go through a walkthrough practice. So he's got to get that defense going here.
We talked about Warren Moon having a history of big games in this stadium as a Houston Oiler. Here is the handoff for a first down, is running hard with the ball inside the 25-yard line is Lamar Smith. In 1990, now he's here to do that game, Jim. Warren Moon threw for 527 yards for the Oilers in a win over the Chiefs here at Kansas City.
Well, you know, Warren Moon is the type of quarterback that when he gets hot and he has a day like that, anything can happen. And as you mentioned to me earlier, he probably could have thrown for 600 or more.
Yeah. He came out with a lot of time left in the fourth quarter and the game in hand. I asked him yesterday, why didn't you stand for the record? He said he hurt his hand and he wanted to come out. He didn't know how badly he'd hurt it. He could have set the all-time record as it was. It was second best all-time to Van Brocklin. Here is Warren Moon standing in. Another throw. Is that a foul inside the 15-yard line? The official right on top of it says no. A clean defense. He was looking at Christian Fourier. One of his tight ends was Warren Moon.
Moon comes off a play action right there. He gets good pressure from the Kansas City defense. The throw's a little bit high right there. A little bit high. And then you see Jerome Woods there, number 21, making a good effort to intercept the football. Number 77, Pella McDaniels right there is giving the shot to Warren. That might have caused the high throw right there. Warren probably saw him in his vision, about to get hit, threw a little bit high.
Washington Husky fans remember Warren Moon as a MVP of the Rose Bowl. Back in 77, I think it was. He's been at it that long. In his 20th pro football season is Warren Moon, 6 in Canada, and now 14 in the NFL.
Well, I was the defensive coordinator for that Washington Husky football team, Don. It was the 77 season, the 78 Rose Bowl, and it was Warren's senior year. It had been a long time since the Huskies had gone to the Rose Bowl. We went in as a decidedly underdog to the Michigan Wolverines, and we had a great game. Warren had a great game, and we upset Michigan. It was really a thrilling victory. One of the highlights of my coaching career, really.
Boy, defensive coordinator. I know the fans at UW had been kind of on Warren Moon, hadn't they, the previous 2 years?
He came in as a junior college transfer as a sophomore and unseated the incumbent who was very popular, the incumbent quarterback who was very popular with the Husky fans. And we struggled there for a couple years. We were 6-5, 5-6, and they were down on Warren, but he handled it with class, a lot of class.
Warren Moon working well. He told us before the game, I know what it takes to win at Arrowhead, and it takes a lot. As we see where Warren Moon stands now on the all-time list of NFL touchdown throwers. Dan Marino firing away, the leader.
Got one away from John Elway.
Warren Moon with a touchdown throw today for the first score of the game, a 41-yard pass play to Galloway, who's not been back since turning an ankle. Moon from the shotgun on third down. Here comes the rush. Warren Moon takes a look. There's nothing there, and Moon driven back at the 21-yard line. Excellent coverage by the Kansas City defense, and Bobby Houston, the former Jet, came up and made a strike along with Donnie Edwards.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs had great coverage down here. They're in the red zone. They needed to get a big play. They had great coverage. They made Moon scramble around a little bit, and once he decided to run, they came up. Those linebackers came up out of their coverage and really nailed it. Donnie Edwards, he can run, and he can explode. But when he sees somebody, make a break like Warren, he can explode out of that coverage and come up and make the tackle.
Which he just did. And now Peterson, if he hits this field goal, he will tie his own Seattle record of 14 straight field goals. Here's a guy that kicked briefly one year for Arizona. Made 2 of 4, was a free agent, and the Seahawks made a great move when they signed him. Before he can try this field goal attempt, he's made 1 today. We remind you that coming up, it's the Domino's Pizza NFL and NBC halftime report. Ray Gumbel, Chris Collinsworth, Sam Weich, and Jim Kelly are standing by in our New York studios with today's scores and highlights, plus a Ryder Cup update. Right now, here at Arrowhead, there's 1:36 to go in a quick-moving first half. And the Seahawks, who've lost 6 straight here, they've not won at Arrowhead since 1990. They're in the lead 10-7. They had a 10-0 lead. As Peterson gets set now, he is in his 3rd year out of the University of Georgia. This season, he's not missed a kick. 9 of 9 on PATs, 5 of 5 on field goal attempts.
I'm sure he knows this will tie the record, too. He got a little bit more adrenaline flowing in his.
You're pretty good when you're going for your own record.
Yeah, your own record. That's great. You don't have to worry about somebody else breaking it.
This will be a 38-yarder. High snap, good hold by Tootin. Ball on the way, and it's no good. Snap came in high. Tootin got it down, and now they exchange some words. This is a very spirited rivalry, and they could start swinging at any time. So the Chiefs take it over with not much time to work with, 1:34.
Yeah, the snap's a little high right there, and that might have thrown the timing off, but it was good enough for Peterson to make the kick. He can't use that snap as an excuse. And Denny Erickson over there on the sideline, the head coach, getting a little upset about that. You don't see head coaches react like that too often. I mean, missed field goal kick, something like that. Maybe if it was at the end of the game, but in this kind of a situation, Denny's getting a little emotional over there.
Well, his guy misses so few. Peterson, now Vanover comes out as a wide receiver. Gerbach will be throwing on every down, trying to get in field goal range. Just as I say that, he goes to the run to Kimball Anders, and he gets nothing. So now in their wisdom, the Chiefs might want to think about throwing the ball since they're inside their own 35-yard line. Seattle piling, getting off the pile at their leisure, letting the clock run. 1:15 to go. Now Gerbach stands in, takes a look, throws over the middle, makes the catch, does Ted Hobson. And he takes a pop, but he's ahead to the 48-yard line. It's a first down for the Chiefs. Here's a free agent from Portland State who's been playing some very good football for the Chiefs.
They got him from the 49ers, and they really like him. He's a good blocker and a good receiver. He does both as well as any of their tight ends.
Another throw as they try to get out of bounds, but Popson's unable to. Clock continues to run. It is down to 46 seconds to play. And the Chiefs down to 1 timeout now as they stop the clock with 46 seconds to go in the first half. And Marty Schottenheimer's team down 10-7. Marty came into our meeting yesterday and said at the outset, this is going to be as tough a game as we've played in a long time. I hope our players know it. They're coming off the Chiefs. Very impressive win that you saw, Jim, last week at Carolina. And it has been a very tough game for Kansas City so far.
Yes, it has. This Seahawks team is really well prepared for this game, and they're into it emotionally. This was a big game for them also.
Next Sunday, more exciting NFL action continues with a doubleheader beginning at 12 noon with the NFL on NBC. Then in Game 1, the Chiefs travel to Miami to take on the Dolphins. In Game 2, the Chargers battle the Raiders, or the Oilers meet the Seahawks. Check your local listings for the games in your area. It's more great NFL action next Sunday beginning at 12 noon Eastern Time with the NFL on NBC. Marty Schottenheimer's team lost its last 3 games last year and missed the playoffs for the first time since 1989. He started poorly this year, blown out at Denver, but they've been hot since, winning 3 straight. Gerbach looking for an official call, but none is forthcoming. They rule the pass defense was clean.
Gerbach and Andre Rison, the intended receiver, were both claiming pass interference. It didn't look like it to me. It looked like a good call by the official, a good no call by the official.
And the game clock down to 42 seconds. Ball positioned right at midfield. Chiefs with a 4 wide receiver set. Gerbach gets some time. Swings it near side, and Vanover in his wisdom stays in bounds. He does get the first down, though. And the Chiefs quickly align without a huddle. They have no timeouts left. Seattle has a player down. It looks like Williams, the right cornerback, is down. Willie Williams, he's not faking it. The last thing they want to do is stop the clock at this point. The Chiefs out of timeouts.
Vanover didn't get out of bounds. He could have got out of bounds to stop the clock, although he needed to get the first down, and that's why he turned it up, because he barely got the first down. I think Williams might have come up and got the tackle on Vanover, and a little bit of a size mismatch there. Vanover is a very physical player.
We'll watch it again as you see Vanover catch it and turn it up for the first down.
The fantastic giveaway is presented by the Chiefs.
Vanover just kind of, Williams just kind of tripped over right there. There is 27 right there. He just kind of falls over the Vanover when he got tackled, and hard to see what he did.
But he's still down. He looks like he's up now. Williams was a free agent acquisition. He started for the Steelers last year. The Bears continue to lead the Cowboys at Irving, Texas 3-0. Jets with a 17-7 lead.
Vanover is as I said, he's a very physical player. We talked about how he hits it up there hard on kickoff returns, and he did the same thing there, trying to get the first down. Marty Schottenheimer told us they're going to try to get Vanover involved more in the offense today and from now on. He's been used primarily as a return man up to this point.
Dennis Erickson says he has nightmares about Vanover, who ran back an opening kickoff for Florida State against his Miami team for a touchdown. So I see this guy keep wondering, when's he going to graduate? He's got a lot of eligibility.
I think he's only 23 years old.
He is. Young player. Dropping to throw is Gerbach. Big rush. And the knockdown is made at the back of the 49-yard line. There's a penalty marker thrown in. Mike Sinclair getting the big pass rush from the left side. Sinclair, a guy who said he never expected to be in the NFL.
There's Sinclair right there, and he's just getting a good fast speed rush over Glenn Parker. Just attacked that outside shoulder and went right by him. Good rush by Sinclair.
The ball's at the 41-yard line. Gerbach getting the ball away, and this will bring up 2nd down and 10. 4 wide receiver set. Gerbach takes a look near side, makes the throw, catch is made. Vanover steps out of bounds, but they're not in field goal range yet, even though Stoyanovich, Jim, is a long-range kicker. He's hit from over 50 during his career.
Yeah, they don't need much more here to get Stoyanovich an opportunity to kick. On that play right there, we talked about Vanover not getting out of bounds the time before. He could have got a little bit more positive yardage right there before he got out of bounds. And you try to teach your receivers in a hurry-up situation to do that. Don't just step out of bounds right away. Get upfield as much as you can, then get out of bounds.
And the Chiefs are going to have to get somebody out of bounds here because they're out of timeouts. It'll be an out pattern. Here is a throw near side. Intercepted again for a third time in the half. Elvis Gerbach is picked off. This time it was Jay Bellamy who got him. So the Chiefs drive comes to another screeching halt on a third interception of this day of Elvis Gerbach.
It looks to me like Gerbach doesn't see Bellamy, number 20, the player who makes the interception. And Bellamy's just kind of sitting back there in that zone that we talked about the Seattle plays. He just watches the quarterback and then breaks on the ball when it's thrown, comes up and gets the pick.
So Gerbach, as we now have a penalty marker signaled, though, against the defense. Must have been after the interception.
Personal foul. Late hit on the defense after the interception. 15 yards.
That's what it was.
First down.
So the Chiefs now send their defensive unit out as Gerbach turns it over for a third time. You'll remember the first two interceptions of Gerbach were subsequently turned into the 10 points that Seattle scored in this game. Gerbach and Marty, what do you think they're talking about there?
Well, probably Marty is trying to reassure him right there and say, hey, don't, hang in there, don't get down. We're going to need you this second half.
That's right.
You got to come back and have a great second half for us. Don't get down. That's what he's telling them.
Seahawks are going to take their winnings to the locker room as their quarterback Warren Moon just downs the ball. And at the half, it's Seattle 10, Kansas City 7. Dennis Erickson with the team playing a good game in the first half, and now we're getting set to go to New York to our studios where Greg Gumbel is standing by. It's sunny in Kansas City, where the Seahawks have shown so far today, leading at halftime 10-7 with Jim Moore. I'm Don Crickey. The Seahawks coming in here having lost 11 of their last 12 times at Arrowhead Stadium. They've not won here since 1990. They've had 3 turnovers of Gerbach, intercepting him 3 times, Jim. Maybe they should have more points off that.
They should. I think Kansas City ought to go into the locker room. They did go into the locker room at halftime feeling very fortunate. They turned the ball over 3 times, and they're still only down 3 points. They're very much in the ball game. This gives Marty a chance to really get after him at halftime, and they're still in the ball game, and they won't lose their confidence.
What do you think in the second half now? He came out throwing, the Chiefs did, with their game plan, and now they've gone to a little bit more diverse offense. They've not been able to hit the big throw as the Seattle Seahawks have had to hit the big throw, like the 41-yarder to Galloway. Last report on him, Jim, is a sprained foot, so we might not see Joey in the second half.
That's going to hurt them, too. That's going to hurt Seattle. Seattle is tough to get the big play on. They've we're giving them up the first couple of games of the year, but they haven't recently.
Broussard is back to receive the Stoyanovich kickoff, and Broussard's going to bring it back from his own end zone. He's to the 15 and out of bounds at the 16. So the percentages hold up. Don't run it back from your end zone in this league, or you won't get to the 20 where you get with a touchback. And he didn't. As you look at the Coors Light first half statistics, Kansas City with a lot more first downs, but so what? And a lot more yards.
Yeah, the key stat here, Don, is the turnovers. Obviously right there that Kansas City has the 3 interceptions, and that's been the difference in the ball game, because Kansas City, had they have not had the interceptions, certainly would have had more points and have a lead right now.
Dennis Erickson dressed 6 wide receivers for this game for the Seahawks, and that was a good move because Galloway's gone out with a sprained foot. Blades is in there now at the top of your screen. He's had some problems. He pulled a muscle earlier. He gets a good block there as Chris Warren runs with the ball, and Warren breaks it. A cutback block by Blades really helps spring that play as Chris Warren shows some good speed. And there's a Chief shaking up on the play.
It looks to me what they're doing here is they're running at the left side here, but one of the guys they're going after is number 29, Mark McMillan. Mark McMillan is a fine football player. He's not a good run defender. He's not a real big guy. Good block there by number 89, Brian Blades. Right there in your screen, blocking down on Terry Wooden. This gets this play going. Gets it going initially.
And gets it going all the way out to the 43-yard line. A gain of over 25 yards on the play. 27 is measured at as Warren Moon throws up the middle. And it's incomplete. The ball was tipped. And now a marker comes in late as the ball comes in incomplete at the 35-yard line of the Chiefs.
Well, I don't believe they can call pass interference because the ball was tipped. Once it's tipped, there's no such thing as pass interference.
There is no foul on the play. The ball was tipped. Take it down.
And that is the play, so it goes as an incomplete pass. It looked like the middle backer, Edwards, got a hand down at 59.
There's Edwards right there. He's dropping into coverage, and he's doing a good job right there. That's right where he ought to be, right in front of that receiver, back in that short zone.
Now we're told that Joey Galloway will not return to this game today for the Seahawks. He did catch a 41-yard touchdown pass to Moore and Moon to open the scoring. Lamar Smith puts the ball on the field as he runs it, and they're going to rule the official right on top of it. It's amazing how these NFL officials, how close to the play they are, the positioning they have, and he rules that the ball was down and knocked out by the ground, so it's a down play.
Officials get criticism, as we all know, but they really do an outstanding job. Jerry Seaman, who's the head of all the officials in the National Football League, does a great job in his job, and they do a good job of screening people, bringing them into the league, and training them. They do a fine job.
This crew seems to be especially good. They're all over every play. Probably isn't any sport that's better officiated from top to bottom than the NFL.
And I think it's the hardest sport to officiate.
It is. 22 guys in every play, and each of them can do at least one thing wrong.
Things happen so quickly, big bodies moving quickly, a lot of people out there, 22 players at one time. It's hard to see everything.
Incomplete pass, and so Rick Tootin makes a rare appearance on the field now to punt the ball for Seattle, as Tamarick Vanover is back deep for Kansas City.
They could use a big play out of Vanover right here. Get him good field position, start this second half.
Chiefs look like they got a punt block on. No, they don't. They set up the return as the ball is hit high by Tootin, forcing Vanover into a fair catch at the 21. So Kansas City down by 3 goes on offense when we come back to Arrowhead. Back to Kansas City as we look at the first half possessions for the favored Chiefs, who are on a 3-game win streak. Punt, interception, then the touchdown by Marcus Allen, another interception. You get their quarterback to change the game plan. It's hard to maybe for the team to have confidence of that a start.
I think one of the best things that Gerbach's got going for him is the players do have confidence in him, and you do not change your game plan. You don't change it. You might change a little bit, but you don't change it because he's thrown 3 interceptions. You got to let him keep his confidence, the team keep their confidence. You planned all week for this, what you're going to do against these guys. You got to stay with it. They're only 3 points down. They're really, it's a close ball game.
Even though Gerbach threw for 3 touchdowns last week in Carolina, he didn't feel he played well, and the coaches didn't feel he played well. But he does come into this game with a very good 86 quarterback rating. Now Gerbach stands in at 6'5", buying time. Here comes the rush. Gerbach, very mobile, as you pointed out. He's going to get a first down. So Elvis Gerbach on the fly takes it ahead and gets the first down. Pump fake, pulled it back in, pump faked again, and finally runs for the first down.
Well, like Seattle does all of the time, they're only going to rush 4 people, and they get a good rush on Gerbach, but what they've got is they've got that good disciplined zone coverage back there, and there's nobody for Gerbach to throw to, so he has to scramble, but being the athlete that he is, he's able to get the first down. Now, somebody on that left side, probably Michael Sinclair, should have had contain on that and not let Gerbach get outside.
They were in an all-out rush with the Seahawks, looking for the sack. Now Greg Hill comes to the near side. Superb defense by the Seahawks. Outside backer Chad Brown and middle backer Dean Wells, both combining on the stop.
There's Chad Brown right there, and he's going to play off the block by Anders with his hands and do a nice job of pursuing to the outside. Then you get good pursuit by number 95, Dean Wells, who's the inside linebacker. Good play by both of those, especially Chad Brown, staying on his feet, playing off the blocker with his hands.
And the good play by those 2 linebackers results in about a 3-yard loss, and now the Chiefs want a timeout. They have to burn one early in the half. Here on NBC, and back to live action, and the Chiefs go to the run as Kimball Anders runs well, turning it up the far sideline on a 2nd down and 12 play. He races ahead for a first down on a 12-yard gain. Got what he needed, Jim, for the first down. Run out of bounds by Benny Blades.
What one of the problems with the coverage that the Seahawks play a lot is that they play a two-deep coverage, which puts the safeties in the deep zones, so they're not able to support the run like they do if they're in a three-deep, and it's a good defense to run against, and the Chiefs had some success there.
You just saw Greg McMakin, the D coordinator for Seattle. Greg Hill runs straight ahead. McMakin with an interesting tact he was telling us about, Jim, when he actually calls his veteran team together, and he asked these guys, what do we have to do to win? What should we stress this week in practice? How do you see Kansas City and what we need to do to prepare to beat them?
He likes to do that at a Saturday night meeting, and he'll get that whole defense in there, and he'll say, hey guys, he'll call a particular guy, what's it going to take to win tomorrow? He's going to really get some communication going between the team. He really likes it.
He said in assessing his Seattle defense, they have an attitude second to none. Mike Sinclair said they called a team meeting earlier, so we've got to make an attitude adjustment. Right now they need a tackle adjustment as a penalty marker comes in on the trap run up the middle, and it's probably a holding call against the Chiefs. The umpire threw it in. Holding against the Chiefs.
To follow up on what you said, we asked Greg McMakin, what's the
Holding on the offense, number 79, 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Dave Zott got called for the hold.
We asked him what he likes about the Seattle team. He says the best thing we got going for us is our character, our team character. He says these guys work hard, they hang together, they don't point fingers. And when you start out 0-2, you need that kind of character on your football team to come back.
Well, they're going to have to hang for 60 minutes to come out of Kansas City with their first win over the Chiefs since 1990 in this stadium. Right now, the Seahawks lead at 10-7. Chiefs with the ball. Back to the run. They get some blocks. And then Marcus Allen, running like a rookie with a speed and leg drive, gets it ahead for a first down. So you look at the Chiefs' rush offense. Very impressive. A 6-yard per carry average. You got to keep running when you're doing that, Jim.
Yeah, they need to do that. You know, if they could, and they're still close to score-wise, so they can continue to run the football. And when you're averaging 6 yards a carry, that's outstanding.
You talk about the run setting up the pass. Gerbach could release deep at any time, although he's got to wonder about some of his throws. He's been picked off 3 times today. Now he throws beautifully to Marcus Allen, and Allen's ahead for a first down, a gain on the play of 17 yards. Gerbach with an excellent throw and a beautifully played ball by Marcus Allen.
There's Marcus Allen right there. He's going to throw to Marcus in the flat. One of the things that the Seahawk defense prides himself on is playing disciplined defense. Right there, they should have had a defensive player in the flat, and he wasn't there.
Jay Bellamy had trouble making the stop as they had extra defensive backs on the field. The Chiefs down by 3, driving here in the third quarter. 8 minutes and 50 seconds to play in it. Back to the run, Kimball Anders, and he takes it ahead. Anders, in 1995, caught 55 passes and started in the Pro Bowl. Talk about him as a complete player.
In 1990, Anders was a free agent, not drafted, a rookie free agent by Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh waived him the final cut, and he didn't play that season. And then Kansas City signed him the next spring. He was a slot receiver for the University of Houston his senior year in that run-and-shoot offense. That's where he learned to catch the ball so well.
There's probably no back with better hands in the league than Kimball Anders. Greg Hill goes in motion. Gerbach on second and long takes a look, dumps it over the middle, and now looking for moves and looking for room is Kimball Anders. He finds the move that takes him for a first down inside the 30-yard line of the Seahawks.
He's going to throw to Kimball Anders, the back. Now, Anders is going to sit there like he's going to block. When he sees nobody blitzing, then he releases in the flat. And when the Seahawks are playing that disciplined zone defense that they do, you're going to be able to complete some passes in the short zones underneath the linebacker coverage. And the linebacker in coverage was Dean Wells, who got out-quicked by Kimball Anders, who beat him for the run after the catch for a first down. Chiefs driving. They trail the Seahawks 10-7, third quarter. Gerbach swings it out beautifully. This is Greg Hill running in the open field. He's inside the 10-yard line, and he's not done till he's down to the 2. And that ignites a standing ovation from Sold Out Arrowhead, a 26-yard play. were doubling the wide receiver. And they snuck Greg Hill out into the flat, and there was nobody there to cover him. There was nobody in the flat zone.
And right now we have a Kansas City player down, Jim, inside the 10-yard line. As Greg Hill, after the reception, takes it all the way down to the 2-yard line, where it will be first and goal for the Chiefs for the go-ahead score. Looks like Andre Rison was shaken up on the play. Good to see Andre popping up. Looks like he's okay.
Here's Rison on the left part of your screen, and he's going to be blocking the defensive back. Got tied up with a couple of Seahawk defenders right there and got hurt.
Took a hard block to a thigh as the game clock now stopped with 7:17 to play in the third quarter. Let's watch.
There it is again. There's Rison. Going to block number 33, Darrell Williams. And Darrell Williams right there, he goes low, and it looks like you say, Don, it looks like he got hit on the thigh. Darrell Williams just knew he was going to get blocked by Rison. He just took him on low, tried to cut him and the ball carrier.
The update on the Joey Galloway injury, rather than a sprained foot, they've now have it reading that he has a sprained ankle. You don't want either, but a sprained ankle is better than a sprained foot.
Yeah, definitely. They originally said he had a sprained foot, and I've had experience with those sprained feet with some players that I've coached, and it's a tough injury because those little bones in your feet kind of get messed up, and it takes a long time to recover and to get well, especially for a wide receiver who depends so much on speed and quickness and does everything.
Marcus Allen, you were talking earlier, Jim, about the best back there is in football right now when you're near the goal line, and he's the I-back, the second back aligned behind Elvis Gerbach. He's been in the end zone once. He's been in the end zone, is it twice? There he is. Allen goes over the top, and the Chiefs take the lead for the first time in the game.
One of the reasons that Marcus Allen is successful in the goal line area for this particular football team is because he's got a fullback, Tony Richardson, right there, who is an excellent blocker in that goal line area. But right there, Marcus Allen did it all himself. He got airborne and got in that end zone. The Seahawks actually had pretty good penetration by their defensive linemen, but Allen just jumped over the top of them.
A truly remarkable athlete, able in his 16th year to play among the very elite players in the league. And the extra point is hit up and good by Stoyanovich, and it is now a 14-10 game, Kansas City. The NFL season extends to the World Wide Web on NFL.com, the league's official website. Visit NFL.com for all the scores and stats, including a complete roundup of this weekend's scores in action. It's all at NFL.com. Elvis Gerbach playing well in that drive. 3-for-3 throwing the ball, Jim, for 52 yards. A key play to swing pass to Greg Hill that got it down to the 2. And then Marcus Allen over the top for his second touchdown of the day and the Chiefs' first lead of the day. Now it is Broussard running hard and bringing the ball back to the 22-yard line. And we'll see if the Seahawks can answer. Back in 1990, number 1, Warren Moon had his most prolific passing day. In fact, the second most prolific day in NFL history, as he threw for 527 yards against the Chiefs in a Houston Oilers victory. And now, as we come back to live action today, it's going to be number 1 for the Seattle Seahawks. The aforementioned Warren Moon needing to lead the way as his team trails today for the first time 14-10. After earlier leading this game 10-0. Moon swings it out beautifully. Ball goes to Lamar Smith, and he is out across the 25. He's not done till he's almost to the 32-yard line. Looked like Dale Carter had him, Jim, and couldn't hold on.
Yeah, in a play like that, you know, you're going to let the guy's going to catch the ball and he's going to get a few yards. But what you've got to do as a defensive back, and you're going to see Carter here at the bottom of your screen, the right side of your screen. He's going to come up, and what he does here, right there, he's going to duck his head. See him duck his head? You got to keep that head up, and you got to drive up and through the ball carrier.
And with that second effort, it was a first down carry after the reception. Lamar Smith, another of the running backs from Houston, like Kimball Anders. So many good backs played for the Houston Cougars as collegians. It's a great one at Buffalo, their top draft choice, Antoine Smith. Here's a reverse play. The Chiefs seem to have it smelled out. Pritchard running back, looking for room to go. Could be a clip. This is a dangerous area. No penalty markers are down as the Seahawks somehow find their way to block clean after after the play reversed the field twice.
Yeah, first of all, Pella McDaniels, the number 77, you're going to see him right there. He does a real good job of seeing this play develop, and he come on. What he did, he came up there. He didn't turn it inside, but he made Pritchard deepen his angle of running, and so Pritchard, there was nowhere for him to go. It gave the pursuit time to catch up, and he had to double back. Good bit of running by Pritchard there.
And that focus that Warren Moon talked about being so essential to win here certainly in evidence as the Seahawks blocked for the play and never had a blocking foul. That was a very difficult play to block for. Long ball, wide open on the run. McKnight, he's going in. And the Seattle Seahawks take the lead on a 54-yard touchdown pass. Nobody covered. James McKnight. Dale Carter not having a Pro Bowl day. He was beaten again.
Dale Carter has been beaten for 2 touchdowns now, 2 long touchdown passes. He's their best defender. They think he's one of the top defensive corners in the National Football League, and he normally is. But he certainly got fooled on that one, and James McKnight ran right by him, just as Galloway did in the first quarter.
Warren Moon with some very impressive numbers today. He has hit 12 of 16 passes for 207 yards and 2 long touchdowns. He talked, Jim, about needing big plays to beat the mighty Chiefs in their home ball yard. And he now has touchdown passes of 41 yards to Galloway and 54 yards to McKnight.
Big plays will kill you. It's a great thing for the offense, but it'll kill you on defense. Right here, he's playing man for man. There's Carter right there. There's McKnight right there. A little move right there. No help. Now they're in a 2 deep coverage. That safety's got to be over there helping Carter. That safety kind of bit with the inside route. He's got to give Carter a little bit of help. But Carter's got to do a better job than he did. If he's going to play up like that, which is what he was doing, he's got to get his hands on the receiver. You can't see the safety in the screen right here, but he's supposed to be over that top there helping out.
And no help was there, so James McKnight, a free agent from Little Liberty College, he takes it all the way in. Isn't that where Sam Ratigliano coaches now?
That's exactly where he coaches.
Former coach of the Cleveland Browns, Sam Ratigliano.
The alma mater of Eric Green, the big tight end with the Baltimore Ravens.
He's playing pretty well this year, in fact. They're all the Ravens.
Yeah, he is.
Today losing at San Diego in a close game, 14-9 at last count. Interesting division. Denver Broncos, the leaders of the AFC West, went to 5-0 with a victory over their former coach Dan Reeves in Atlanta today. And this score should never hold up, and we've got so long to go. It's probably not going to stay like this.
I don't think so.
We could have 2 3-2 teams coming out of this game.
The thing here, though, is that the Chiefs have had to drive for their touchdowns, and the Seahawks have got theirs quick. Big plays. Big plays will kill you on defense. You can't let people have big plays. You work too hard to give a big play up in 1 down. 54 yards in 1 down. It shouldn't happen.
And with Moon so experienced, if there's somebody's open, he sees it like he did McKnight there. Here is Vanover returning the kickoff, gets a running start on the catch and takes it out to the 29-30-yard line. And the Chiefs will go on offense there. 1st and 10. Follow the NFL season online at NBCSports.com. Check in on clubhouse reports and read up on all the latest goings-on with all 30 NFL teams. Plus, vote in our poll, which asks who is the NFL's most dangerous kickoff returner. It's all at NBCSports.com. And that's good to see that Andre Rison, who had a bruised leg after he was blocking on the play earlier, is back in the lineup and looking to go deep pretty soon. Williams backs off of him. Gerbach hands off, and Greg Hill runs, and not for much. As the Seahawk defense playing today without their top defender in the line, Cortez Kennedy, out with a knee strain. Gets a big play from Dan Saliamua, the former Chief, and from Matt Labounty.
I talked to Dan Saliamua yesterday and asked him what it would be like going against Dave Zott, his former teammate with the Chiefs, and he says, hey, we're good buddies, but once you get out there in that field, he says, all of that, none of that matters. You're just trying to beat the heck out of the other guy.
Chad Brown said he thought that Cortez would play simply because he'd be taking so much abuse from his teammates because he doesn't like guys to get injured and not be in the lineup. He's never been hurt before. But Chad said if you're not in the lineup with some nagging little injury, you're going to hear from Cortez about it. So now Tez can't go today. He warmed up before the game. 6-time Pro Bowl player. Interesting, Mike Sinclair said when he went to his first Pro Bowl, he thought you played as hard as you did in the regular season. And finally, Tez came up and he said, hey, these guys are all talking to me. He said, your man here from Seattle, he's going all out. We don't do that at this thing. We kind of ease into this game.
He said, slow down. Kind of glide off that line. Don't come so hard.
He's going to be coming hard now at Gerback the next time he throws, which is right now. A beautifully thrown ball, and with the catches, Andre Rison down to the 45-yard line. A 13-yard gain on the play, set up, Jim, by a very good play fake.
Yeah, really good play fake, which holds those linebackers. You'll see Gerback. Now, you see Rison here coming across. Initially, he was looking for number 88, Tony Gonzalez, out there in the flat, but he saw Gonzalez was covered. Rison was open on the crossing route, and he hit him with it.
Terrific game here on NBC Sports. We have 3:30 to play in the third quarter. The Chiefs, who trailed 10-0, came back to take a 14-10 lead. Now a long touchdown throw on their last possession by the Seahawks. Warren Moon to James McKnight has given the Hawks the lead again, 17-14. First down carry, and there's nothing there. Seattle defense slams the door on Greg Hill. As not a good sign. Joey Galloway, who caught a touchdown pass and sprained a foot, is on crutches on the sideline.
Yeah, it's amazing that the Seahawks have done as well as they have without him in the lineup, and they lost him early. He hasn't played hardly at all after that great touchdown catch that he made earlier in the game. And he's a big part of their offense.
Excuse me, Jim. Really a marvelous season under Bill Parcells after they won one game last year. It looks like to a victory at Cincinnati. Here's Gerback with a well-set-up screen pass play to Kimball Anders, and he's in running an open field. And Anders is down inside the 35-yard line of the Seahawks, down close to with a 20-yard gain on the play. He'll be spatted out of bounds at about the 34.
Well, this is a screen play to the left of your screen with Anders going out into the flat, and it's a good play against his own defense because you've got everybody in the defense dropping off, and you're going to get some yardage out of that. The key thing is to get those offensive linemen down there blocking for your running back.
So Gerback, who was troubled in the first half with those interceptions, he was picked off 3 times by Seattle defenders. Now starts to settle down, and he moves his team well. Kansas City trailing the Seahawks by 3. Handoff. Greg Hill and very good defense again. Middle linebacker Dean Wells, a fifth-year player out of Kentucky, shed the block, made the hit. No gain on the play. In fact, there's a loss of a yard.
The Chiefs are doing a good job, as they have all day, really, of keeping the Seahawks off balance. They're mixing up the run, the pass, the play pass. They're throwing some screens, running some draws, and it's making it very difficult for Seattle. But Seattle is hanging in there, not giving up the big play, and doing a pretty good job defensively.
Gerback, play faking, throws it out, comes in high, but somehow Kimball Anders shows why he's a 2-time Pro Bowl player as he goes up and fields the ball with one hand to slow it down and then takes it in. But the tackler was right there, the strong safety, Benny Blades, and there's no gain.
That time Seattle did come with the blitz. They blitzed number 95, Dean Wells, their middle linebacker. So they had Blades on man cover. There's the blitz right there. There's Wells coming up the middle, and there's Blades covering the back, man for man, there to make the play.
Kansas City, Jim, doing well on third down so far today. They've converted 6 of 8. This time they need 12 yards on this third down. Gerback stands in after a deep drop, swings it up, and there is Anders again, heading for the sticks, and does he get there? Looks like he did. He had to get down just to almost the 20-yard line, and the linesman comes in and spats the ball, and they're going to have to take a look and measure here, but I think he may have had it.
The Chiefs are doing a real good job of attacking the zone. They're getting the linebackers to drop deep into those short zones, and they're hitting the backs and the tight ends, the wide receivers underneath and in front of the linebackers, and then they're running for additional yardage and picking up good gains and first downs.
Gerback with more controlled throws now. Those downfield throws, particularly the ones over the middle, were his nemesis in the first half when he was intercepted 3 times. They do get the first down.
There's Anders right there. He's going to set up and block and see if there's anybody blitzing. They're just in a 4-man rush, so he can release. He's the secondary receiver right there. The downfield receivers were covered. Gerback hit him for a first down.
An excellent second look, as right now we have Anders with 4 catches for 43 yards so far in the game and 4 rushes for 25. Gerbach takes his time, looks in over the middle again. This time he makes the connection to tight end Ted Hobson, and he's down inside the 10-yard line. It'll be first and goal for Kansas City as the third quarter winds down and out, with the Chiefs challenging again to come from behind. What a game. Here we are back at Kansas City. Don Criqui with Jim Mora ready to start the fourth quarter, as the third quarterback to come to Kansas City from the 49ers after Montana and Bono. Now it is Gerbach who leads the way, who was originally an 8th-round draft choice of San Francisco, leading his team as they try to come from behind for a second time up the middle to Marcus Allen. And he's down close to the goal line, but not in. He rockets into that line, Jim, with an extra burst.
He hits it up in there hard, especially when they're down close to the goal line. He knows where that goal line is. You know, he's going for 116. If he scores down here a rushing touchdown, it'll add to his NFL record, 116 rushing touchdowns.
Unbelievable. Every time he scores, he adds to his own record.
He's got a good blocker there in front of him in Tony Richardson at fullback. Watch him.
Allen again over the top. Good defense by the Seahawks.
Excellent defense.
The down lineman got low, submarine the blocking, then over the top came the linebackers. Dean Wells, Chad Brown, Winston Moss. And no touchdown. That brings up now as the ball is positioned at the 1-yard line. 3rd down and goal. Do you go right back to Marcus over the top?
Yeah, I would. You know, 3rd down and a goal. I'd go to Marcus. You got 2 downs to make a touchdown unless you want to kick the field goal. I'd go with Marcus right over the top. I'd do what you do best. And what you do best is give it to him inside, let him dive on over the goal line.
Richardson the blocker. We could have a fine collision over the top. Here is Marcus Allen over the top. There's that collision. Now it's a fake, and actually everybody went for it, including me, as Gerbach tried to roll out, and tremendous defense by the Seahawks. Benny Blades was one guy who wasn't fooled.
They had Benny Blades coming off the corner right there, a veteran player. He says, they're probably going to fake that inside play again, and here comes Gerbach on the bootleg keep, and Benny Blades is right there to make the play.
So the Seahawk defense, cheered on by injured Cortez Kennedy, certainly stands tall. First and goal for the Chiefs is thwarted, and now they've got to try a tying field goal, which is hit up and good. So Stoyanovich hits the field goal, and we're locked up at 17-17 with 13-14 to play.
Here's Benny Blades right there, lined up on the left side, and he's going to come off the corner on a blitz. Now, number 88, Tony Gonzalez, coming in motion, attempts to block right there. He's supposed to chip him and stay with him a little bit longer. What he does, he releases too quickly into his pass route. It gives Blades a clean shot to Gerbach for the sack. Gonzalez right there is supposed to stay with that block just a little bit longer. That's his number 1 responsibility. Block the blitzing defensive backer, then release into the route.
Now the kickoff as the ball is taken by Andre Coleman. He was a Wildcat at nearby Kansas State not that long ago. And Andre sprints ahead to the 24-yard line, and Seattle goes from there when we come back. Join NBC Sports on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 Pacific, for Game 1 of the American League Championship Series, as Ken Griffey Jr. leads the Seattle Mariners against Cal Ripken Jr. and the Baltimore Orioles. That's primetime Wednesday on NBC. Randy Johnson will be cranking up his heater for the Mariners.
Right, and that city will be fired up there in that Pacific Northwest.
It should be about that team. They
love that team.
3 million people this year. You see now the Seahawks locked in a tie game as the handoff goes to Broussard, who's in the lineup. You'll remember the second half impetus he gave the Seahawks last week against San Diego. Broussard with 11 carries over 70 yards.
Yeah, they had 2 yards rushing at halftime last week against San Diego and weren't doing a heck of a lot better the third quarter. They put Broussard in the end of the third quarter, and as you said, Donnie rushed for 72 yards and got the game-winning touchdown at the end of the game.
And now, after some good work earlier in the day by Chris Warren, they're going to fresh legs and the quickness of Broussard here in the fourth quarter with the game tied. to Broussard. He tries to turn wide on a 2nd down and 6 play. Very good defense by Mighty Mouse. Cornerback Mark McMillan, who knocked him out of bounds, as the Cowboys now build their lead after trailing Chicago to 17-3 over the Bears.
Moon was looking for Carlester Crumpler on that play, the tight end, but he was well covered by those Kansas City Chiefs linebackers and the strong safety Reggie Tongue, so he went to the outlet receiver.
Jeff George with 3 touchdown passes today for the Raiders as they've come from behind. A very big down. 3rd down, almost 4 for Seattle. Warren Moon goes to the run, and Broussard responds with a 1st down carry. A terrific play call by the Seahawks as they catch the Chiefs, Jim, in an all-out pass rush.
Yeah, those 4 defensive linemen had their ears laid back, and they were coming upfield. Perfect call with the draw. Look at those defensive linemen. See that big hole in the middle? Both the tackles, both the defensive tackles took an outside pass rush, and it left a big gap up the middle for Broussard to run the draw.
Mawai, the center, with a good block. He opened the channel for Broussard. And in this tie game, the Seahawks drive on now at their 35-yard line. Back to Broussard. Stutter step moves, and a penalty marker is down at the far side of the field. Offside is the signal. We'll see who it's against. Might be against the Chiefs. It is. Walt Coleman, the referee.
Offsides on the defense, number 93, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 1st down.
John Browning, a 2nd-year starter for the Kansas City Chiefs, playing at what they call left tackle. It's really like a left end in their defensive alignment. He was lined up in the neutral zone, which a lot of guys will tend to do.
Right, they're trying to get that jump on the offensive lineman, and they're going to crowd that ball as much as they can. Sometimes they crowd it too much.
1st and 5. Interesting play call. Warren Moon goes to the pitchback. Lamar Smith cuts back, and Smith gets out to the 44-yard line. Warren Moon talked about the patience you have to exercise against this fast Kansas City defense to break plays. And Lamar Smith did that there, Jim. He waited for his blockers to commit, then he followed them.
All right, he kind of watched that pursuit getting outside. He cut back inside the pursuit. It's kind of interesting what Dennis Erickson is doing right here. He's kind of alternating his backs by plays and not by series. In this series alone, we've had both Broussard and Lamar Smith.
Brian Blades is wide to the left, going in motion at the bottom of your screen. Handoff. A 2nd and short. It looked like Lamar Smith on a 2nd effort lunge. They have gotten the 1st down. We'll see there now. The linesman's coming in, spotting it. It appears just short. So it'll be 3rd and less than a yard.
That was good defense there by Kansas City. This could be a big play here on 3rd and short. Keep this drive going. This would be, if they didn't make it, it would be tough to go for it on 4th down at this stage of the game in the field position. So they got to make it on 3rd down, or they're going to have to punt.
Gunther Cunningham making the defensive calls for the Chiefs. Bob Bratkowski making the offensive calls. Look at Hasty almost was offside. They go to a blitz, and they get Broussard. A tremendous play. As the right call came down from the press box, they shot everybody into the gaps, and they stopped the run.
Dan Williams, number 92, did a good job of penetrating across the line of scrimmage, getting into the offensive backfield, making the play for a big loss. Those linebackers were blitzing. They actually made the tackle, but Dan Williams, he's the one that got it going with that penetration.
3rd and short. The Chiefs stuff the run, and now the Seahawks have to punt the ball. Rick Tootin hits it downfield, a high wobbly spiral that Tamarick Vanover lets hit and carry him into the end zone. And so the Chiefs, tied up at 17-all with the Seahawks, will go on offense from their 20.
On short yardage plays, you need to get every gap covered. You need to get people in the gaps and getting upfield. That's what they're doing with him, with number 59, Donnie Edwards. They're blowing upfield. They block the linebacker. Nobody blocks 92, Dan Williams. He makes a great play.
A third down stop that forces the Seahawks to punt the ball. And now it is Kansas City going 1st and 10 in this tie game from their 20. Gerbach's 9 of 9 in the second half throwing the ball. Now 10 of 10 as he hits Andre Rison for a gain of 8. Gerbach now 10 of 10 for 126 yards here in the second half after throwing those 3 first-half interceptions.
Willie Williams, number 27, is the right corner there. He's given a lot of cushion to Rison. He doesn't want to get beat deep. He's going to give him the underneath route, and they take advantage of it and complete it for a pretty good gain.
They talk about the strength of Rison's game, his explosiveness out of the cuts. He was a great basketball player. He actually went to Michigan State as a point guard on a basketball scholarship. Here's a throw, another catch. It's Andre Rison moving the ball out to the 40-yard line. First down, Kansas City in the fourth quarter as the clock shows 8 minutes to play.
The Seahawk linebackers right there are not doing a good job of getting back into coverage. They're going with the run fake. The play fake to the back by Gerbach is holding the linebackers. It's leaving those short zones open. The secondary people are playing the deep zones. The linebackers got to be in the short zones.
And in the short zones, Rison's finding the open space. He's now caught today 4 passes for 61 yards. Here comes the run. Marcus Allen looking for a place to go, and there's not a whole lot going on in that Seahawk defense that allows any room to run. Dean Wells filling a gap, making the knockdown, and it's a gain of only 2 yards. 2nd and 8.
Once you read that run fake, you see that run go and you start to attack the run. Once you see that it's a pass, you got to turn and you got to explode back to that short zone. Those Seahawk linebackers are not doing that. They're not getting out of the run defense soon enough and getting back to cover.
Rison with the 4 catches today has 22 for the season with the Chiefs. Gerbach hands off, and look at the sprint run by Marcus Allen, just rocketing into the heart of the Seahawk defense for a gain of 10 yards and a first down. Finally tackled by Benny Blades, but the Chiefs drive on.
What Marcus Allen does so well is when he carries the ball, he attacks the line of scrimmage. There's no back and forth, there's no juking. He just hits it quickly, hard upfield, and that's what he's doing there. Right over Dave Zott, their best offensive lineman.
A lot of rhythm now, Jim, in this Kansas City offense. Short, sharp, precise pass patterns, and then the runs. Here's the play fake. Gerbach looks. They're going to get him, or are they? He gets away. And finally, they do get a sack of Gerbach. But on the dive, he got out to the 43-yard line, but it is a sack for the Seattle defense.
Well, that's a good job by Gerbach of getting positive yardage when he should have really been sacked. Sinclair should have had the sack there. Number 99, Matt LeBounty, coming from the right side, should have gotten the sack. Gerbach escaped that and got, past the line of scrimmage,
right,
picked up about 4 yards, yeah.
He's past the line of scrimmage and advances the ball now to where he has 4 carries for 37 yards. Look at some of the finals of an upset today. The Lions over Green Bay. Hand off to Kimball Anders with a big blocker in front. And Anders moves ahead and gets to about the 41-yard line. In front of him on the play was Glenn Parker, the former Buffalo Bill, 62.
This is a misdirection play, and they pull Shields and Parker, the right guard and right tackle, but the Seattle defense did a good job of recognizing that play and reacting to it.
Time now becoming a factor as San Diego has rallied to come from behind to take the lead on Baltimore. Time a factor here. The game clock goes under 5 minutes to play. Chiefs with the ball. 3rd down and a long 3, almost 4. Game tied, 17-17. Gerbach stands in, and the big rush forces an errant throw. And 4th down comes up, and Kansas City, Jim, looks like they're going to have to punt the ball.
Right, you got a good rush there from the 2 defensive ends from the Seahawk and their nickel defense. Number 94 coming from the left side of your screen, Chad Brown, and number 70, Michael Sinclair from the left side. Right side of your screen, left side of the defensive formation. Good rush there, that caused the bad throw. Steve Wallace was in at left tackle that time for Criswell, and Chad Brown beat him inside, threw him outside, beat him inside.
Here's Louis Aguiar hitting a punt, end over end, nicely done punt, and it forces a fair catch at the 9-yard line by Tyree Davis. So the Seahawks have it when we come back. Don Triggy with Jim Mora back at Arrowhead. Could we be heading to OT? This game tied up 17-17. We still have some time left, and the Seahawks now break the huddle. First down and 10 at their 10-yard line. 4:39 to play. And the KC crowd, sold out Arrowhead, kicks in. Moon throws. What a play! What a brilliant play. Going high in the air was Mike Pritchard with a huge 20-yard gainer right in the teeth of the defense.
Pritchard's going to run a quick slant right there, kind of a short post, and it's Warren actually throws it a little bit high. Pritchard goes up for the ball and makes a fabulous catch. Got good coverage from Mark McMillan right there. Mark, being a little bit on the short side, wasn't able to get around and knock the ball loose. Good catch by Pritchard, though.
The Seahawks playing an error-free game from a turnover standpoint. They've not turned the ball over. They intercepted Gerbach of the Chiefs 3 times in the first half. Now Warren Moon is swept under by the blitz. Coming hard on the play was Terry Wooden, the former Seahawk.
Anytime that the Chiefs feel like they're getting in trouble, now they're going to bring Wooden right there, and they're going to bring him here in a blitz. Nobody blocks him. The fullback has to block number 59, Donnie Edwards, who was also blocking. That left Wooden free to get the quarterback.
And now the sack by the longtime Seahawk, Wooden. Mark Schottenheim was saying, you know what you're going to get from Wooden every game. He's so consistent. Just doesn't make mistakes. Doesn't have the speed maybe he once had. Here's a handoff, a draw play, and running with the ball, Lamar Smith takes it across the 30. On a 2nd down and 20 play, he got back 12, almost 13 yards. And that brings up 3rd and a throwing down for the Seahawks as a KC player looked like he got knocked out on the play.
That was a good call on 2nd and 20, Don, by Bob Bratkowski, the offensive coordinator. They still got a pretty good...
Right now, a timeout while the injured party's attended to. Back at Arrowhead, James Hasty shaken up on the play. Looks like James is all right, though, as he comes out at least for 1 down. Now a huge play arises. There have been many in this game. This is 3rd down and 7. Game tied, 17-17, 2:57 to play. Warren Moon in the shotgun. Here comes the blitz. He stands in, and they get him. Ball on the field. Live ball. And wisely, the ball has fallen on by the offensive tackle for the Seahawks. Didn't try to pick it up and run with it and lose it again. Grant Williams did cover the ball, but the Seahawks are going to have to punt from their end zone, Jim.
Well, they came with 8 this time, 8 blitzers. Number 59, Donnie Edwards, coming from the right side, was the first one to hit him. Warren Moon was looking. I thought he was going to get rid of the ball, but he just didn't have time. And there comes number 25, Reggie Tung, too. That's the 3rd time he's been sacked today. They came into this game with only 4 sacks on the season, 1 in each of their first 4 games. That was the 3rd time today he's been sacked.
So Tootin now stands in his end zone. And back deep is the ever-dangerous number 87 for Kansas City, Tamarick Vanover. Game tied, 17-17. Tootin hits the ball beautifully downfield, a knuckleball, and it takes a big Seattle hop, and Vanover has to let it roll. So Tootin delivers the goods big time as they have almost a penalty on the field. They don't throw the flag.
It was critical that Rick Tootin get this punt off here. They were backed up into their own end zone almost. The snap was a little bit high, but you can see Rick go up for the ball, got good hands, makes a good catch, and gets the punt off. That's a critical play by Tootin.
It sure was. It was one of the biggest plays of this game, a 55-yard punt under extreme duress. After the sack of Warren Moon, he had to stand in his end zone and get the snap and boot it out. And now with the game clock showing 1:58 to play, the scoreboard showing a 17-17 tie. Elvis Gerbach and the Chiefs look to get in field goal range for Stoyanovich to possibly win it. Marcus Allen runs on 1st down, and he got 4 to the 42-yard line of Kansas City.
And you see who's in there in critical situations is number 32, Marcus Allen, in his 16th year in the NFL.
Gerbach has been throwing the ball short and very well in the 2nd half after the 3 first-half interceptions. Now he looks, he's in trouble. Buys time with the rollout, takes a look, and throws the ball away wisely.
Again, Gerbach's scrambling ability and athletic ability gets him out of a jam right there. Instead of a negative play, they come back and it's 2nd and 5 or 3rd and 5. Could have been 3rd and about 15 had he have been sacked.
These big 3rd downs, Jim, keep arising. Here's another one now. This is 3rd down, and they need a long 4, almost 5.
Marcus Allen is coming out of the game, and he's kind of pointing to his shoulder, kind of letting his arm hang there. See what's the matter with him. Elvis
Gerbach, he could be looking at an all-out blitz right now as the Seahawk defenders bring people up. Here comes a 4-man rush. Gerbach throws, and the play is broken up. Beautifully done by Williams. No flag. The Chief fans calling for one. But Willie Williams comes over the top, blocks the ball away, and the Chiefs have to punt the ball.
They're in man-to-man coverage, and number 27, Willie Williams, right there, is covering on the play. Makes a nice play, getting that left arm out in front of the ball and knocking it down. Kept that right arm off the receiver, no foul. A lot of times you'll see a defender kind of wrap up the receiver with that back arm, and he didn't do it that time.
Marty Schottenheimer looking for a call, but none is forthcoming. A good no call. The official on top of the play as they've been all day. Here is the high punt downfield by Aguiar. Bearcat signal for, and man, do the Chiefs have it?
Give me
Seattle got it back. It's been that kind of a day. The Seahawks have not turned it over, but they came close there. As it looked like Tyree Davis had his hands on the ball, lost it, and somehow got it back.
Well, they got people around him right here. You're going to see some red jerseys coming down there right on him. Joe Horn.
And those aren't sweet nothings that are whispering in his ear when he's...
No, I'm sure Dennis Erickson was having a heart attack over there when he saw that ball come out.
Now the Chief defense, which has been blitzing well, will dig in, going for Warren Moon. We'll try to put the ball downfield as we look possibly at overtime. It's 17-17.
They need to keep him backed up here. They need to keep him backed up. If they stop him, get the ball in good field position.
They're not going to blitz. They come with a 4-man rush, but it's coming hard. Here's a swing pass to Broussard. Putting on moves. Broussard gets ahead for a gain of only about 3 yards. Kevin Ross, the veteran defender, number 31, who Schottenheimer calls pound for pound the toughest football player he's ever been around. He makes the hit, number 31 of the Chiefs on number 31 of the Seahawks. And that brings up 2nd down. They need 8. Moon from the shotgun. Again, a 4-man rush. No blitz. Here's a throw. An overshoot. As Pritchard was the intended target, but it was way over his head. And that brings up another 3rd down.
Yeah, that wasn't a good throw. Warren's seen a lot of things, and he's been in a lot of situations, but it looked to me like he hurried that throw just a little bit. There was no blitz on. They were just coming with the 4-man rush. He had a good passing lane right there. He just threw it high.
Again, pointing out that the Seahawks are without their best deep threat, Joey Galloway, after catching a touchdown pass, went out with a sprained ankle in the first quarter, has not played since. 3rd down, they go to a draw play. What an excellent play call, and it's good for a 1st down and more. As still on the run is Lamar Smith, and somehow as they try to strip the ball and don't tackle, the Chiefs give up a huge play with 35 seconds left to play in the game. It turned into a 34-yard gain.
That was a great play, great call by Bratkowski, and a great run by Smith. The Chiefs are coming with just a 3-man rush. When you come with a 3-man rush there, you open up some run lanes. But what's got to happen? Those people that are dropping have got to come up and make the play. Kevin Ross, number 31, had a good shot at him and missed the tackle. Good running by Smith, though.
Smith having a very nice day with limited work. He's carried the ball just 10 times, but look at that, 90 yards.
Been very productive. Chris Warren has been out with an injury, and both he and Broussard have had a good second half.
Coach Schottenheimer, I tell you, we were watching the game last Sunday. My wife Molly saw him with that thing in his pants. She wanted to,
the clipboard.
She thought he lost a lot of weight. He needed to hold his pants up. So no, those are the tendencies, aren't they?
Those are the game plan.
1st down and 10. Swing pass. It's incomplete. Game clock down to 32 seconds to play.
Critical play right there. He had Smith out in the flat. The Chiefs had the blitz on. Smith catches it, and he's got a chance to get some yardage and get out of bounds and stop the clock. Got to get two hands on it right there. He tried to catch it with just one hand.
Each team has 2 timeouts remaining. Dennis Erickson's Seattle Seahawks can use the middle of the field because they can stop the clock with the timeouts. But they're out of field goal range. All at the 47-yard line of Kansas City. The game is tied with 32 seconds left in regulation. We might not be done after 4 quarters. Swing pass, and there's nothing there. And the Seahawks will now have to use one of their timeouts, which for reasons now they finally call it with 22 seconds to play. You got to air it out here, Jim, with sideline pattern. Now, while we have a moment, we'll go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Don, in San Diego, Stan Humphries and Tony Martin have had a great time playing together today. For the 3rd time this afternoon, they hook up for a touchdown. This one good for 38 yards. San Diego jumps ahead of Baltimore, 21-17. Just under 5 minutes to play in regulation, Don.
Thank you, Greg. In regulation here, we have just 22 seconds left to play. So, Jim Mora, what do you go to?
You throw the ball. You got 3rd and 11. You got to get the first down. You're trying to win the football game. You got to throw the football, get the 11 yards, and get in position to kick a field goal and win the game.
But 11 yards doesn't get you close enough to kick a field goal, does it?
Well, you get the first down, then you worry about that. You still got timeouts and time left to get some more yardage and get closer for the field goal. But you got to throw here, get the first down.
We are down to 22 ticks. That's all. 22 seconds left. Tie game, 17 all. And the KC following it. Sold out Arrowhead, not making it very easy as the Chiefs are going to blitz. Here it comes. Moon throws. He makes the connection to Pritchard to the 41-yard line. And that is short of a first down as the game clock now winds down to 12 seconds. And 4th down arises. They're not going to try a long field goal, or maybe they are. They're going to let it wind all the way down to 3 seconds. And they take their final timeout. So the line of scrimmage, the 41, 15 yards back, 17 yards back from there would be a 58-yarder.
58 yards, but you got to do this. You got to give it a shot. You got probably a better chance of making this, and they know Peterson better than anybody, than you do getting down in the end zone and trying to get a score, trying to get a touchdown. Wouldn't this be interesting here? If he makes this, he would break his record.
Oh, he just missed.
Oh, he did miss. You're right. He did miss. My mistake.
Well, certainly nothing. That's the worst thing you do today. You've had a good day.
Who, me or him?
Well, we're going to find out how good his day is as we now. His longest field goal in his career for Peterson is 54 yards. So he would set a personal record for distance if he makes this. And I'll tell you, these Chiefs are going to be coming like NHRA dragsters trying to block this thing. The hold is at the 48-yard line, a 58-yard field goal attempt by Peterson. He doesn't make it. We go to overtime. And now the Chiefs want to give him some time to think about it. They call timeout. Well, the plot here is about as thick as it can get. The Chiefs and the Seahawks, arch rivals in the AFC West, down to what could be a deciding play, but if it doesn't convert, the field goal attempt by Peterson. There you go. We go to overtime. This is a 58-yard attempt. And the Chiefs are sending everybody, 11 guys. Kick is on the way. It was a bad snap. The snap came in low. Tootin did a good job just to get it down, but the snapper did not deliver the goods for Seattle. Tootin somehow got the ball down in position for him to kick it, and we're going to go to overtime. Here's the snap to see it come in low on the one hop almost.
Yeah, low snap. Tootin did a good job of at least getting the ball up in position for Peterson to make an attempt at it, but that was tough right from the get-go. Yeah, right from the get-go when the snap is low like that. You got enough pressure on you anyway trying to make a 58-yarder to win the game, and then when the snap comes in low, it really messes you up.
Well, in overtime, as you know, Jim, the flip of the coin can be important because the team that wins the flip, more often than not, wins the game. Yeah,
they've kept stats on this, and I don't know what they are exactly, but as you say, most of the time the receiving team is going to end up the winner.
You get the first crack at it. All Marty Schottenheimer wanting to be sure that everybody is on the right page. When they flip the coin, the visiting team makes the call. And they're sending out Dan Saliamua, the former Chief, to make the call.
Each team gets 2 timeouts. You play it just like the fourth quarter of the game, except it's sudden death.
In the air. They call tails. It is a tail. Seattle has won the toss.
Take the ball, says Big Dan. So Seattle will start overtime with the football, a critically important development in their favor. Big Dan Saliamua makes the right call. He called tails. We'll go to overtime when we come back. Dennis Erickson and his Seattle Seahawks will get the ball. He'll start overtime. 17-17.
You know, Kansas City has already been in 2 close games this year, Don. They won on the last play at Oakland, and then they won really on the last play when they played Buffalo here a few weeks ago when Buffalo had the ball on their 7-yard line. So they're used to this kind of a situation. We'll see how they respond to it. You really don't do a whole lot different as a coach in this situation. You got a whole quarter to play. You don't change your game plan. You keep doing the things that have been working for you up to this point.
Well, the first thing they're going to do is have Broussard run it back from the 2-yard line. Here comes the very quick Steve Broussard from Washington State. And a huge open field hit. Richardson was the man who came down. Tony Richardson to make the pop. And the Seahawks start off deep in their own end.
The Chiefs have a nickname for Tony Richardson. You know, they like to throw to him when they get down in the goal line area. They use him mainly as a blocker, but when they get in a pinch, they like to sneak him out in the flat. He's had 3 receptions in his career, 2 for touchdowns. They call him Touchdown Tony.
Yeah. That time it was tackling Tony as he made the hit back at the 14-yard line. Warren Moon steps in. The rush has intensified in his face as this game wears on. The run. The Chiefs give up very little as Lamar Smith runs the ball to the 16-yard line. Big Joe Phillips, number 75, stuffs the run along with Anthony Davis.
I'm not so sure that what you shouldn't do here if you're Seattle is come out and throw on first down and try to get that some positive yardage on first and second down. Now they're in 2nd and 9, and Kansas City's going to come after them because they know they got to throw.
2nd and 9 it is. 2 wide receivers in the game. They have double tight ends for max protection. Moon takes a drop. He gets time, swings it out, makes the connection with Lamar Smith. And very good defense again by the Chiefs, giving up very little on the pass play. Almost lost the ball here, Jim.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a problem here with the snap. A little bit of a fumble there. Moon almost lost it. He almost fumbled. He hits Smith out there in the flat. Mark McMillan, the right corner, comes up, is in good position, but misses the tackle. Smith gets a few extra yards. Boy, what a critical time to get the snap right down here. That's vital.
And with 3rd and 4 coming up, Warren Moon aligns under his center. Chiefs bring people up to the line. They've been shooting blitzers all day. Pitch back. Lamar Smith looks to work behind Howard Dallard, and the Chiefs defense sweeps him under. Dale Carter, who's been burned twice for touchdowns today, is the man who shot the gap and stopped the run for a loss. And now the Chiefs will get the ball for the first time in overtime.
This Kansas City defense is so fast and so quick, they can respond to plays like this. They can get caught out of position. Carter was actually moving to the inside, covering the receiver who was in motion, but he saw the pitch, and he reacted quickly and came up and made the play. That's what speed will do for you. You can't coach it. You're born with it.
A high snap and another tremendous punt by Tootin as he drives Vanover all the way back to his 20-yard line. Then he has to backpedal more. And finally, he turns it upfield and is knocked out of bounds at the 26-yard line. So Rick Tootin has been magnificent from his end zone. Late in regulation, he had a 55-yarder. Now from deep in his own end, he kicks a 62-yard punt.
You know, we had another high snap here. Tootin's got to jump up again for the snap, and he does a nice job of getting it off and getting a great punt.
And if that ball went over his head and into and out of the end zone, which it would have done, the game is over on a safety. Marcus Allen is the I-back.
Greg Minuski, number 51, does a great job there on the snapper on the punt.
Gerbach throws, and he makes a connection. Here's Andre Rison looking for room to go, and Rison takes it out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Had a first down where he caught the ball, then looking for room to move it upfield, he cut back and lost a few, but he did gain 8+ yards on the play.
Right, on that snap, though, there's the replay on Rison. And again, Springs, number 24 Springs, the rookie number 1 draft pick, he's playing off on Rison. He doesn't want to get beat deep, just got to come up and make the play.
Second down and 2 for Kansas City. Don Criqui with Jim Mora at Arrowhead Stadium. And now penalty markers fly as we have a Seahawk jumping offside, but was he drawn off?
Full start.
Yep, it's against the offense.
Offense number 79. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
A couple of old teammates there. Dave Zott, the left guard, and Dan Saliamua, the defensive right tackle.
Look at the Jets go to 3-2, routing their former coach Bruce Coslett and his Bengals. The Chicago Bears led 3-0, and then the Bears, a sorry lot indeed, are blasted by Dallas 27-3. The Peyton Manning Bowl has begun. He'll be the top pick in the draft. Here is Marcus Allen on a swing pass. On a second down play, he'll be short of a first down, but he does get the ball to about the 33-yard line.
The Seahawks were in a coverage with the corner. You see the right corner here, number 27, Willie Williams. He's going to go off with the receiver, so they throw the little swing route to Marcus Allen, but Chad Brown, number 94, comes up and makes a nice play. When those defensive corners are running with those wide receivers, it's all up to the linebackers to come up and make the play on those short routes.
And those defensive corners are uptight. They're bumping and running. Gerbach takes a drop. Here comes the rush. He gets it away. And again, Chad Brown here's a late penalty marker. As Marcus Allen, who was the intended receiver. Let's see who's the call going to be on. There's a Seahawk down on the play. Ed Brown getting a big rush on.
I always wonder when those flags come out late like that. I just wonder what influence the crowd might have.
On the defense, number 36. First down.
I would always think if you're an official and you see it, if you see it, you throw it now. You don't wait.
Looking at it was Blades who the call was on. He has an interception today, and he also has a sack. And now Gerbach might have banged his hand when he went down here.
Might have got his right leg there twisted underneath his left leg.
And here's
good rush by Brown.
He started to warm up, so the plot even gets thicker. Ball on the 40-yard line, first down and 10 for the Kansas City Chiefs. We're in overtime. 17-17. Seattle led this game 10-0 at one point. Then the Chiefs came back and took the lead 14-10. Then Seattle led 17-14. Now we're locked up at 17 in overtime as Gerbach hands off. And Melanders runs. Good defense by the Seattle Seahawks as Darrell Williams, who had an interception today to go along with the 3 he had last week, makes the tackle for a loss on the yard. It's going to be second down and 9.
Nice job by Williams of filling from his free safety position. He was playing off there in a coverage alignment, saw the run develop, came up, made the play.
11 minutes to go in the overtime period. Gerbach hands off. Good play call, and it's almost a first down. Now what do the Chiefs do? As Kimball Anders on second down gets the ball to the 49-yard line, they send in a power package for third and short. Extra tight ends come in. Derek Walker comes in, so does Gonzalez.
They got Derek Walker, they got Gonzalez, and they got Ted Popson. They got all 3 tight ends. They're going to line up at 2 tight ends, the wing back and 2 backs. Let's see what they do here.
Well, it won't be a surprise to anybody in this ball yard if it's Marcus Allen, the I-back over the top.
How about the boot?
It'll be a bootleg. It's Marcus Allen into the line. First down, Kansas City. He cracks the midfield line, and it's a first down for the Chiefs.
One of the reasons that Marcus Allen is such a good short yardage runner is he runs with a real good lean. Tough to get a good shot at his body. Watch him here. Takes the snap. It's hard to get a clean shot at him when he's running like that. You're going to get that extra yard. You're going to get that first down.
The Seattle Seahawks have lost 6 straight games here at Arrowhead Stadium. They've not won here since 1990. They've lost 11 of their last 12 here. Right now, the Chiefs with the ball in overtime as the handoff goes to Marcus Allen. A first down run. Straight ahead is to the 47-yard line as the Chiefs grinding out the yards, Jim. All back on the right, making the call.
And what he's doing, he's just pounding at the middle of that Seahawk defense. The Seahawks, the number one thing they got to do right here is they got to stop the run. They can't let Kansas City run the ball on them because they'll just move it down there and get in position to kick a field goal. That defensive line has got to suck it up right now. Salamua, Adams, LaBounty, Sinclair, they got to suck it up and stop the run.
Salamua, the former Chief who played 8 years here, starting in place of the injured Cortez Kennedy today for Seattle. Hand off to Marcus Allen. He runs right into a tackler. And on 2nd and 6, he gets ahead for maybe a yard and a half.
That's a little bit better by the defensive line, a little bit stouter in there.
So the Chiefs not wanting to risk turnovers by throwing the ball. They had 3 first-half interceptions thrown by Gerbach, staying with a very conservative play call in overtime.
Right. He's been pretty good the second half, though. He's had been very good from a standpoint of his completion percentage, and they've made some big gains with the passing game. They don't want to get too conservative here.
Marty Schottenheimer harkening back, Jim, to what he told us yesterday. He said, I don't care how much success we've had against the Seahawks. It's going to take everything we've got to beat this team today. And they haven't beaten him yet, as on the roll and then throwing the ball away wisely is Elvis Gerbach. And now Seattle pass rusher is down.
Sam Adams, number 98, defensive tackle, is down. This could be a critical injury right here because, I hope it's cramps because otherwise they're really hurting at the defensive line. They don't have a lot of depth.
A reminder, the next Sunday exciting NFL action continues on NBC with a doubleheader beginning at 12 noon Eastern time with the NFL on NBC. Then in Game 1, the Chiefs go against the Dolphins in South Florida. In Game 2, the Chargers battle the Raiders or the Oilers go against the Seahawks. Check your local listings for the games in your area. It's more great NFL action next Sunday beginning at 12 noon Eastern time with the NFL on NBC. Sam Adams, I think, Jim, was just kind of worn out from so many pass rushes. That's a tired 300 pounds taking a rest.
I think he's played most of the game, if not all of the game. I'm not sure, but now he's going into an extra quarter, and they're not used to doing that. And those big defensive linemen, they're wrestling with those offensive linemen on every single play. And he probably needs a little bit of a break right here. But they also need him in the ball game right here. Could be a critical punt here by Aguiar. If he kicks it into the end zone, the Seahawks will start with pretty good field position. If he can get it down inside the 10, it's going to back the Seahawks up, and they're going to have a long way to go.
We could end up with a tie game after overtime. You play 15 minutes of overtime in the regular season. If it's still tied, it's a half-game won and a half-game loss for each team. Now Tyree Davis is going to let it hop, and it takes a nice Kansas City roll down to the 11-yard line. And that's where Seattle goes on offense, 1st and 10. So you have the dilemma, Jim Mora, of having to get in field goal range and yet not wanting to risk the downfield throw that might be intercepted and turn the game against you.
That's true, but still you've got to go with what has been working with you through the game. And the Chiefs have done a good job of mixing up their offense with the pass and the run, the play pass, the bootleg, the drop back, running the football, and they got real conservative right there. And I think a little bit too conservative. I really do. I think they should have thrown more.
79,000 strong. Stand now and make it more difficult for Warren Moon to call signals as he drops to throw. Downfield, he makes the connection out close to the 20-yard line. It will be just short of a first down as the ball was triggered into Brian Blades, and it's a 9-yard gain on the play.
I think this is what you got to do down here. They get the ball on their 11-yard line, and they're not going to be conservative. They're going to come out throwing, and that's what you need to do. And on first down, the Chiefs had not been blitzing. This is the time to take advantage, get your protection, complete passes.
to Carter of the Chiefs being beaten deep twice. He's playing well off Mike Pritchard now at the lower portion of your screen as they go to a pitch run. And the ball is taken down to the 26-yard line as the Seahawks still do a masterful job of protecting the football. They've not turned it over in the game.
Yeah, this has been a big thing too. Usually when you win the takeaway giveaway war, in other words, the other team turns the ball over more times than you do. Most of the time, I'd say even into the 90 percentile, you're going to win the football game. Let's see what happens here.
Particularly when it's this big a disparity. The Chiefs have turned it over 3 times. The Seahawks not at all. First down, Seattle. 6:40 to play in overtime. It's tied 17-all. Don Criqui with Jim Moore as Warren Moon takes a look. Lets her go long. Coverage is there. It's intercepted. Guess what the problem could have been? It now comes to realization as Jerome Woods, the second-year safety, finally is able to make a play and force a Moon turnover after the Seahawks were error-free.
Well, they're trying to work on McMillan, and what Pritchard does there, he does a little stutter step to get McMillan to react up, and then he tries to run by him. McMillan doesn't go for it. He's got good coverage, and Jerome Woods comes over from the safety position for the interception. Good defense by the Chiefs.
So now the Kansas City defense standing tall. Sending out their offense is Donnie Edwards, number 59, put the heat on Warren Moon. The ball positioned at midfield.
There was that turnover, that first turnover.
Yeah, the first turnover.
Seattle.
Hand off, Greg Hill, who hasn't carried the ball in a while, runs into the middle of the Seahawk defense. Gets about 3. Fans here are looking for a little bit more explosive play calling, but you saw what happened when the Seahawks just tried to go deep.
Yeah, but I still think you gotta, it's not a gamble. I was gonna say you gotta gamble. It's not really a gamble. You gotta throw the ball, air it out on first down. You don't have to go deep. You can use good, sound judgment in your throwing game, but you gotta throw the football.
Well, let's see if they do. It's second down now and a long 7. Play fake. Gerbach stands in. Here comes the rush. He's on the run, and Gerbach dives ahead and has a first down. He's at the 40-yard line of the Seahawks. He has 17 yards from the line of scrimmage for the field goal, so this would be an improbable 57-yarder from here, but they'll be looking to get it closer, and he does have the first down. They're bringing the chains out for reasons I don't know why, because he's made it.
They had second and long, and they came with the play-action fake. It didn't fool the Seahawks. Those 4 down linemen were really coming hard. Had a good rush on Gerbeck, but he escaped the rush and picked up the first down.
Actually, the players are thankful they brought a measurement out that wasn't needed. Gave them a few seconds to catch their breath, and they're about all running on empty tanks at this point, Jim.
Right, especially that Seattle defensive line. Those guys have been working hard. They've been playing almost the whole game, and this is going to be a real true test right here. They're going to have to suck it up, dig down deep, find something to play for.
Stoyanovich with a career longest of 59 yards. Here's Gerbach throwing, and he makes the connection down to the 32-yard line. They'll spot it actually at the 31. From here it would be a 48-yard field goal.
You can see that defensive line getting tired. They're not getting any pressure that time. They were just kind of trying to push the offensive lineman back, and Gerbach made a good completion here to Risen. They're getting in field goal range here. They're on the 31-yard line.
See Risen doing good things. 7 catches today, 25 for the season for Kansas City. It's second and 2. Back to the run. Greg Hill got very little, if anything at all. Might have gotten half a yard. And that brings up third down and less than 2 for the Chiefs. They're not going to put a power package back in. And you know who comes in with that? Number 32, Marcus Allen.
Number 32 at the tailback position. Be number 49 at the fullback position. Tony Richardson and those 3 tight ends.
Third game we've worked together this season, the 3rd overtime game. This is the longest overtime game. We saw the Oilers beat the Raiders in overtime.
He got it.
As over the top goes Marcus. It is a first down for the Chiefs at the 29-yard line.
The good thing about Marcus here, he knows when to go over the top and he knows when not to go over the top. He sees the penetration by the linebackers and the defensive linemen, low penetration. Now's the time to go high.
Kansas City Chiefs, a team that Coach Schottenheimer says finds a way to win. They've been winning close games this year. After a tough start losing at Denver, they're on a 3-game win streak, and they could be in position to win this. Dennis Erickson to the left, Marty Schottenheimer to the right. Both with the strain of this day wearing on them, as we are now with 3:44 left to play in overtime. The game still tied 17-all. Next score wins it. If there is no score after 15 minutes of overtime, it is a tie game in the NFL. Each team credited with a half game won and a half game loss. Both teams have one timeout remaining in overtime. And the Chiefs right now with the ball at the 29-yard line. From here it would be a 46-yard field goal, but they have first down coming up. So they have time to work it closer. Marcus Allen runs close to the 25-yard line. If they get down to the 20, Jim, do you think they kick it?
Well, I don't know how much confidence they have in Stojanovic. If they feel like, it's a gimme kick for him when they get down there, then they're going to let him do it and not take a chance of turning the ball over. I just don't know how much confidence Marty Schottenheimer has in his kicker at this point.
Well, he's 8 of 9 this year, is Pete Stojanovic.
It kind of depends how they're doing here. If they're running the ball for 4 and 5 yards at a chunk, then I think they might just keep doing that for a while. For a few more plays anyway.
And there's another play they do it. Marcus Allen, he's ridden down from behind as the Seahawks are hunting that ball, trying to rip it out if they can. A short gain on the play. This brings up third down and about 5 as the ball is positioned at the 25-yard line, just inside it. Be about a 41-yard field goal from here. And Marty's going to take his last time out.
He might.
They haven't called it yet. The clock's still running. Now they finally do. 2:39 to play in overtime. And Schottenheimer wants to counsel his troops. Well, the pressure mounts for Pete Stojanovic as he paces the sidelines, waiting to be called on for what could be a game-deciding field goal in overtime for Kansas City. The play call right now will be from 3rd and 5 positioning just inside the 25-yard line. The Chiefs just used their last time out in overtime with 2:39 still on the overtime clock. What do you look for here, Jim?
I don't know. I don't know if they're going to run the ball.
That's why you got out of this racket, right?
And then kick a field goal. If they're going to try to pick up the first down, I'm not quite sure. They've got Donnell Bennett in there at tailback. He hasn't played all day. He's in there at fullback. Marcus Allen's at tailback. Donnell Bennett's at fullback. They were having a discussion during that timeout as to who was in the game, who wasn't going to be, and they were a little bit confused. I think Marty's got it under control right now, though. They're gonna run the ball here.
Sure looks like it. Run it they do, straight ahead, and there's not a whole lot going on, so it's going to be a fairly long field goal attempt. Line of scrimmage will be the 24-yard. Now the guys are fighting downfield, which in their wisdom is not perhaps the choice thing to do with the game hinging in the balance.
And the last thing you want is a penalty here by either team. Chiefs get a penalty that makes the field goal longer. Seahawks get a penalty. It shortens it quite a bit.
Stojanovic, as you see today, 1 of 1 for 29 yards. And now we'll see if it plays out again. Schottenheimer talks about his team as one that finds a way to win. This will be a 41-yard field goal attempt. And if it goes through, it is over, and the Chiefs will win. And now Seattle's going to use a timeout, its final timeout, to give Stojanovic something to think about. He didn't have enough time already to think about it.
I know, he's been standing on that sidelines for quite a while thinking about kicking this game-winning field goal. I don't know how much this bothers a veteran field goal kicker like Stojanovic. I know when we did the Oiler-Raider game, first game of the season, Del Greco was going in for a game-winning field goal in overtime, and he mentioned after the game that, hey, he expected the timeout call. It didn't bother him. He knew what he had to do. He'd been through it before, and no big deal.
Some of these Chiefs fans, Jim, must be omniscient. They're leaving. They know the outcome.
Well, they've got confidence in their kicker. Not too many of them are leaving.
I'll tell you this.
Not too many.
Foul Following the game on most of these stations, a member of O.J. Simpson's family breaks her silence about the murders. Then it's the premieres of Men Behaving Badly and Jenny, followed by tonight's movie Cloned. Viewers on the West Coast will see these shows at their regularly scheduled times. Ball is at the 24-yard line of the Seahawks as the Chiefs set up for a 41-yard field goal attempt. Pete Stoyanovich out of Indiana University. They've got a position in the middle of the field. So you'll get a look from the NBC end zone cameras that'll tell the story. Goes through the uprights. The Chiefs and their fans go home happy. If it doesn't, we play on at least for another 2 minutes.
A couple of minutes, yeah. I'm thinking right now about some games that have been decided in recent weeks by the snap on a field goal attempt. We'll see what happens here.
The best jumping Seahawks are in there. There's the kick on the way. It is up. It is perfect down the middle. And Kansas City finds a way again. And in overtime, the Chiefs, despite an almost heroic effort by the Seahawk team in a stadium they've had so little success in, the Chiefs are able to beat the Seahawks again 20-17. What a heartbreaker for Seattle to take back home.
Seattle gave it all they had today. They really played a good game, great effort, came very, very close. This is going to be a tough loss for them.
Stoyanovich never in doubt as he puts it right down the middle for the game winner in overtime, and the Chiefs go to 4-1 on the season.
Good snap, good hold right there, perfect kick.
Once again, the final score, the Chiefs 20, the Seahawks 17. Tonight on Dateline, a member of O.J. Simpson's family breaks her silence. And it's the premiere of Men Behaving Badly and Jenny, plus the original movie Cloned. For Jim Mora, this is Don Crickey saying so long from Kansas City. The NFL on NBC is a presentation of NBC Sports, home of the Super Bowl.